I love this song. I absolutely love this song.
It's Russell Rush on Friday, kicking with ballistics on WIMS. Yo, I got a phone call from my girl. She wants to host cake. I said, hold up. Yo, Big Dick is trying to get money here. WIMS, Taylor Soul, Saturday, y'all.
Girl meets boy on Thursday night. Boy was high, girl fly like kite. They hold hands until next day. Boy then let's go hit his way. Boy rolls blunt back to his boys. Erection brings bad boy joys. Boy thinks of that big fat back. Big black fat, love big black fat. Girl calls boy to stand him up on Saturday. Saturday, Saturday, it's a Saturday, it's a Saturday, it's a Saturday. Saturday, it's a Saturday. Saturday, it's a Saturday.
Back once more with the wallop in the score. Sponsored by the riff should make you rock your hip. Revival of the roller boogie in a ricochet to make you think about the time we spoke fun instead of fight. But diving from a piece of metal should have that light. Slip your butt to the fix of this mix. Toss that briefcase, it's time to let loose. Cause you work like heck to get the weekend check. So unfasten that sleeper on your neck. Connected like a vibe from the wheel to the foot. Come on everybody, do the funky output.
5 days you work, one whole day to play. Come on everybody, wear your roller skates today. It's Saturday, 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 it's Saturday, Saturday, it's Saturday, Saturday, it's Saturday,
Now as you pump your fists, I reminisce to a bounce rock skate roll fest to impress. Hey pretty diamond, do you like the way I'm dressed? Cool, keep the faith and be my mate, cause all we need is feet. But promote the hustle cause it keeps me thin. No need to talk, Luke who just walked in.
Is there a cut on stage?
Yes, man.
So kick the wham on this jam.
Oh, Mr. Sprinkler, Mr. Sprinkler. Wet me for one, Mr. Sprinkler. I'm heating high five and a day's no split. With the yawn, I trip to the dawn. Out comes the bodies following the one idea. It's clear. Rattle to the roll. Hold back up the track, grab your roller skates, y'all. And let's zip on by. Zippity doo, now let's zip on by. Feed on the weed and we're feeling high. Sun is on thick and the cheese is rolling thick. Come on, it's no time to hide. Season is twist, spinning and winning. No hack and sack, let me in. Spill on the bottom away, but it's okay. Ha, it's a Saturday. Now let's all get baked like Anita.
Watch Mr. Lawn, don't look at the Peter.
Feel on the farm, I'll feel on the.
Hey, watch that.
It's a Saturday.
Now is the time to act the fool tonight. Forget about your worries and you will be alright. It's Saturday, 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 it's Saturday, Saturday, it's Saturday, Saturday, it's Saturday, yeah, 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 yeah,
Hello. I hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to my so-called life. It is hot in the house of sewing. But regardless, I'm going to keep on going. It was a hot day, but I have a feeling it's like that everywhere. No matter where you live, it was hot today. Unless you live on the other side, and happy winter. My name is William. This is my so-called life. Welcome to the House of Sewing. Before I get to the craziness that is my live streams, I would just like to say that I should be wearing my glasses. This program is for entertainment purposes only, and its content is not intended to malign any religion, lack thereof, race, gender, company, individual, or wigs. All opinions expressed by my so-called life and program participants are solely their personal views and do not reflect the views of every single human being on planet Earth. And if you need a hug, if you're having a bad day, we have exits on both sides. That's a izquierda and derecha. I hope everybody has a great evening, and I hope wherever you are doing well. So, lately, there's been people that are new to my so-called life experience, and I know that my sewing machine collection is overwhelming at first, and I promise you, I'm seeking help. I am seeking help. I am going out of my way to get help. So I have a question. You gonna help me? I'm scared to put on my sewing machine cam, but today I purchased a beautiful new home SR 2100, and this thing is solid. I cannot stay away from the 1970s sewing machine design. It's a thing. It's a thing. Maybe one day I will be able to walk away from a new home sewing machine, but it is not today. Oh, I'm doing that thing again where I'm not watching it. There we go. All right. I am so disorganized. You know what's funny? You could have hours and hours to get ready and you still be disorganized. Yay! Hello, hello. How's it going, Pam? Great to see you. Great to see you. I hope your evening is going well. I was watching your live stream, and do you know what's funny? You really remind me of myself. You do. You really do. We have the exact same habits in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways. Because when I was watching your live stream today, I was like, wow, Pam and I have like we have our ways of going about things are very much alike. But let me plug this in. I'm scared to plug into yay, just finished my live. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm scared to plug in my other camera because it overheats. And then it's drama and I'm running around. And yes, that's Princess Mononoke. It is. I'm still not over 2003 or whenever that came out. But, oh, you know, I know that this cannot be the way to turn on the light, but that's the way to turn on the light. I think that really is. So every time you want to use a sewing machine, you have to go in here and turn the light on. But this is 1970s technology, so, you know. I'm trying to think if I bought anything else. When I saw this at the thrift store, I jumped. I did an embroidery design on my new machine. Awesome. Awesome. I'm thinking about bringing this thing out of retirement. I moved it and I put it in a place where it can't be ignored. So my brother, PE 535, will be coming out of retirement soon. I haven't decided what I'm going to make tonight. I have all kinds of material. I'm all over the place. Do you know, I'm at this really weird place where I've made everything. And I'm going to start getting into more complicated designs again because I'm falling into making the same thing over and over and over. Says the guy who might make hammer pants this evening. But so this machine is a bit of a clacker. When I say a clacker, it literally makes that noise. But let's thread it, put something in, let's put a bobbin in the bobbin holder and see how it sews. I really haven't done much to this machine. I've been futzing around with the buttons. Some of them work and some of them do not. I'm going to look up in a minute what year this is from. But with the new home sewing machines, they really don't have records like Singer. People who keep track of Singer sewing machines do not play around. You know what's funny? I only have those giant spools of thread or this really cheap thread. So we're going to find out together if this cheap thread can hold up. Awesome. Do you know it's always like threading a sewing machine is easy, but when you get a machine that you're not necessarily that you don't use all the time, it could be a little bit more difficult. Oh, let me use my left hand. This machine is completely left-handed. That's actually awesome. Oh, it just beeped at me. I did something wrong, but then the red light went away, so I did something right. You can tell the quality of a machine by how many thread guides it has. And this has quite a few thread guides. Do I go through all of those? We're going to find out right now if I went one too many or if I'm just worrying about something that's not important. But I got this machine on sale. Do you know it's sad when I walk into thrift stores and they're like, "Hey, we can get this." They're like, "Hey, it's the sewing machine guy. I know we can get rid of this." How's it going, Rashawn? How's it going? Good to see you. Happy Saturday. Hello. You know, I have I have something extremely strange happened to me the other day or yesterday. My son was asked to be a part of a MMA exposition. His MMA coach asked him to go to a business expo. And I was like, I don't have a problem with that, you know. I kind of like his teacher. He's a cool guy, whatever. So we go down there and it's not set up yet. And you know me, I am early to everything. It's a habit. Long story short, I went to this business expo and they started setting up. People started showing up, and I made a MMA mom friend. I want to call everything soccer mom, but we're not soccer moms. Long story short, me and my MMA friend were talking, we're hanging out, we're chopping it up, and we noticed that the business fair was for the employees. So as a business practice, it just seemed like a weird thing because they had all these different businesses and they had like Costco, the local radio station, all these different places, but they were businesses offering people jobs. And so, a mom, mama, we gotta find out something cool to call us, you know. Because like hockey moms, when you think about hockey mom, she'll fight you in the parking lot, you know. So we went to a place that had a business fair for their employees. That's not job security. The entire time I'm sitting there, I felt like saying, run, you're all getting fired tomorrow. Maybe I'm crazy. I've never had a job that had a business expo like that. That seemed so suspect to me. It was strange. It was extremely strange to me. I wouldn't have any confidence in my job at all in any way, shape, or form. And that's not, to me, that's not a way to show appreciation. What do you think? Would you be scared if you went to work and they had food trucks, they had In-N-Out truck, they had a soft serve truck? I'm like, oh, everybody's getting fired tomorrow. Unless it's high turnover industry, it's the aerospace industry. So I don't know. I don't know if that has a high turnover rate or not, because the aerospace industry is huge in my area, and this happened to be in an industrial area by my house. But the entire thing seemed crazy to me. And they had these insane giveaways, these raffles, and they were giving away all these really amazing these really amazing gifts. And it's like, yeah, because you're all getting fired tomorrow. I am an extremely over analytical human. Okay. If I went to work and they had a business expo, I mean, I'd be in the parking lot making phone calls like, I'm gonna get fired, or they're gonna lay everybody off. It just seemed strange to me, and the whole mood was weird. Nobody was panicking, but it just seemed weird. And and I know many people. I actually grew up in a family that was in the aerospace industry. They party. They have a ton of parties, but it's literally just a party. You eat a bunch of food, you meet a bunch of people. Hey, Alibaba, how's it going? Great to see you. This is I don't know what year this is, but it's a new home SR 2001. I do not want to put my I don't want to put my sewing machine camera on because I know it's gonna fail. Great to see you, Ollie. Great to see you. So what do you think? Would you panic if you went to work and they had a job fair? They were well fed. They were giving away, like they gave away the bullet, like the real bullet, like the it's a fancy blender. They gave away like a real $300 blender. They were giving away Bluetooth speakers. Okay, I live in a major city near a downtown area. You can make anything into a fake Bluetooth speaker. They were giving away Beat speakers and stuff. Maybe they wanted a party but got in trouble and had to make it more businessy. But the whole reason we were there is because it was presented as I almost said his name. The person who puts on the MMA, for all the kids. What's really funny? I'll get to that in a minute. But he had a booth. They basically gave him a booth at what they said was a business expo. But once we got there, we realized it was for one job. But the kids had a great time. They were doing their MMA thing in front of all these people. It was really interesting. It was interesting. But it's not a normal thing. I would be looking sideways. Thank you. My MMA mom friend and I were sitting there the whole time like, is this real life? Is this real life? My job does the same thing. We get the In-N-Out truck. We get a hot dog stand. You literally have to roll me away like I was in Willy Wonka in the chocolate factory when it's over. But everything's for free because everybody's there for the same reason. And it's a fundraiser. So you're paying to be there. Thank you, Alibaba. Is the aerospace industry doing bad? There's a war going on right now, so I would suspect they're doing well. And I'm laughing, and I'm saying that facetiously, but it's kind of true. In my area, they make all kinds of stuff, and business is booming around here to lower taxes. That made me nervous for a bunch of people that I have never met. Oh, and you know what? I have to give respect where it's due. My son's MMA coach can fight. He is like 5'4", 5'5". Again, at this business expo, he challenged people because the average person thinks they can go a minute for a full round. Let me tell you, unless you're in shape, you can't go because he's an actual professional fighter. Long story short, he challenged the first guy and he took it easy. The second guy was this big dude and he punched him in the face. And I was so surprised. The MMA instructor kept on just exposing him. He kept on showing him where he could have hurt him. He had restraint. It was an extremely strange experience. Weirdest business expo I've ever been to in my life. And that's the problem. See, that's the problem. You get a food truck, you get a soft serve truck, and all of a sudden you don't care what it is because you're eating great food. punching at nothing for 30 seconds is tiring. Exactly. And I tell people, like, even people who want to ride motorcycles, I tell them, do this for a half an hour. Walk around your house. Walk around your house. Do this for a half an hour. And tell me how long you can keep your arms up. I didn't realize how out of shape I was until someone said that, and I tried it. I tell people all the time, I have an exercise bike in my kitchen because my son's getting in shape. He shamed me into riding that thing. Every time I walk in my kitchen, it's just looking at me like, what's your excuse? Oh, it's so true. It is so true. Trying to get me to do MMA is tiring. Alibaba, like whenever I take my son, he's in there getting fit. I go to Jack in the Box, and I've said there's 2 Mexican restaurants just in the parking lot. It's bad. I've gained weight, and you know what? I'm okay. I'm in my 40s. I have nothing to hide, and I'm okay with it. Oh, he's getting fit, and my pants do not fit anymore. Oh, all right. So I'm going to change the bobbin that was in here, but we'll see if it... Yeah, that's pretty much a universal bobbin. I don't know why that wouldn't hold it. Okay. You always tell yourself you would get amped up for a fight, but I would have to finish someone completely in 60 seconds. We talk about this all the time because people are shocked when they find out my age. We talk about, like, me and the dads, when we're standing there, we always say, I got about 35 seconds. So, Dave, Rashawn, if you can go for 60 seconds, you could probably take on the average person because the average person's got about 30 seconds in them, especially the over 40s. Because, like, I remember when I was younger, I felt invincible. You know, when you're young, like, I'm not kidding you. I'm not even trying to be funny. I do this to shame myself. But when I was younger, I would literally jump up and out of bed. I'm not kidding you. I remember being like, huh, the morning is mine. I'm not kidding you. Now I open my eyes and I'm like, oh, the morning is not mine. Oh, you seriously, you do tell yourself you can trying to look in behind the shuttle to see if there's some thread behind the shuttle and the race. Oh man, I need my water. For someone who lives in the desert, I should be drinking way more water. $35 would be nice. I might be able to pose for the first 25 to make it a full 60. If you're talking, I know I'm just gonna walk away. I'm too old for that though. I recently had to say that to somebody. Go get help. New Home 200 series up for problems for that. This thing, it was called Alibaba, it was calling my name. But if you need to know about it, it's just maintenance. That's what I figured. I could already hear some problems in it, though. I could already hear a couple of things. All right. So, but it was just that whole experience was surreal because, like I said, my job, they appreciate their employees. And so we have festivals like that. We have all kinds of crazy stuff like that. Sorry, I had to remember which thread was which. But imagine going to work and they had a job fair. That's definitely you're in the parking lot crying status. That is definitely you're in the parking lot crying. I want no parts of a fight. I would offer them money just to go away. Do you know what? I have really I have a really strange view on that as somebody who my eyebrows scare people. It's my face, and I'm not even saying this to be funny. It's the Arthur Fonzarelli effect. Okay, when I was a kid, I watched Happy Days, so just hang with me for a second. If you think about it, Fonzie never punched anyone. He didn't have to, because it was the thought of having to fight him that scared people. So wear a leather jacket and kick a jukebox. I'm right there with you though. I'm right there with you. Like I'm not like, I know how to protect myself, and I still, it's pointless. That's why I hang out at my house and so. But it's true. It's true. That's why I laugh, because I always get people who are like, "You're not what I expected," and I'm like, "Yeah, because my shirt did its job." Or just do what I do and put patches on everything. Does this have a patch on it? Yes, it does. I don't know if you can see that or not. Just put patches on everything. Oh, all right. So let me get a test piece. Lately, my denim test pieces have been failing because denim is extremely thick. So let me get something a little more. Actually, all I have is thick material. I've been working with like carpet upholstery and everything that you could possibly think of. So all I have is like harsh material and lining. There's no in between. Well, there is. After hearing this, someone squares up, and I'll just invite them to a job expo. have them come and hang out with the MMA crowd, man. Craziest job expo ever I've ever been to in my life. Imagine working in the aerospace industry, which you would imagine is booming, and you go to work and they have a job fair. Oof. Oof, talk about insecurity. I'm still not over it. I'm still, and I do not operate on normal hours. And so during the day, I'm tired. I am tired. My middle name is third shift. So the whole time I'm sitting there and I'm like, and I completely forgot. I wore my new boots. And we were there for a good 2 hours, 3 hours. There wasn't ever a day for me to wear my Nikes and stop trying to show off. I need to show people my real height. But I wore my cowboy boots, so I'm standing there in the heat, and my feet are like, "You're gonna pay. You're gonna pay." I would definitely update my resume. Come on. Come on. That's, I've had many employers, and I the the job I have, they have Christmas bonuses, they give you hugs, they have all kinds of incentive because they want you to stay there. And I'm not kidding you, they have a fundraiser once a year where I gain at least 5 or 6 pounds, and I'm not kidding you, because you're eating all day. They have a hot dog booth, they have a hot dog guy. Basically, there's In and Out, it's catered. They have ice cream guy. If you're not walking out and singing Oompa Loompa, doopity dee, there's something wrong with you. Well, look at it this way: wearing the boots like that, they'll break in faster. It was a poor choice. But I ate before because it was in the industrial side of town. And there's this place called Tommy's in California. And I rarely get on that side of town because it's more north. And I'm constantly headed more towards Los Angeles. Long story short, I went to Tommy's before the expo. I'm sitting in the car because I'm habitually early. It's a thing. I was raised by somebody who was in the Navy. It's a thing. Long story short, I was eating Tommy's in the parking lot. So I was fed. So my complaint level was like here. But you're right though, and that's why I'm wearing them all the time, because I'm trying to break them in. But new school boots are different. Let me grab my boots. This is my brand new boot. Brand new boot. It has, I don't know if you can see. Well, you can't see because I don't have all my lights in here because it's hot. But it comes with cushions built inside of it. This is my old school boot, and I'm not kidding you. That's as hard. Let me see if I can knock on that. That is hard. And yes, this is my ratty old cowboy boot. But they're the same company, but these excuse me, are made more for comfort. My other ones, my old school boots were like, real riding boots. The worst for the boot right now would be to get them wet and let them dry while wearing. Yikes, that hurts. It dries and shrinks. That's why I treat my new boots like a pair of Jordans. The funny thing is, I have a brand new pair of boots, and like I wear these every day now. Because these used to be my show boots, but these are 7 or 8 years old. They did their duty. All right, let me grab a test piece. Lately, I've had nothing but sewing machine fails. So I'm just telling you right now, if this thing bonks on me, it's okay. All right, moment of truth. So I really haven't done much to this machine. I can already tell there's a few buttons that do not work on this, but let's find out. Are you sewing? You're actually sewing. It's actually sewing. Oh, and it didn't. You know what's really funny? This is the first success I've had in like as a sewing machine hoarder. This is perfect. And I'll show you the back. Perfect. This is success. Welcome to the fleet. The other two machines are gonna need help. The Singer 404 is sewing at 100 miles an hour. When I turn that thing on, it is just turning and turning and turning. And I said in my video, I was like, well, if it doesn't work out as a sewing machine, it'll be a great boat motor. And nobody got my joke. But this is a success. The funny thing is, I have a new home from like 1908. It's in a box over here, and I stupidly took the plug off. I have no idea why I did that. And this has to be from the 70s. This has to be. So I'm stoked. The past two machines, they're not failures because they still work. Equivocation, stammer. But this is an utter and complete success, and it fits my cheap, odd Amazon thread. A while ago, I bought something from. Thank you. I threw a year out there hoping that you would know. A long time ago, So Fleet. I watched way too much of the reboot of Battlestar Galactica, and then when my ex-wife was pregnant with my son, that was right when they were like doing the last season. So I got really into that show because I was at home hanging out. So I have love for the reboot of Battlestar Galactica, and I refer to my sewing machines as my fleet. Like, I want to think, oh, it's Star Trek, but I'm thinking of that show. As somebody who's obsessed with Star Trek, I would love to see all the machines. You must have a full room. Do you know what's really funny? That's a real point of contention around here. A lot of people have tried to guess how many sewing machines I have. I'm going to tell you the honest. I was actually thinking about this today. I'm going to tell you the truth. I quit counting around 180. And that was a year ago. That was a while ago. And it's really weird. I think about this all the time, okay? I have most of them in this room. Behind the flags and everything here is all cabinets. Because I live in earthquake country, everything back here is reinforced cabinets. I have my earthquake food over here and everything else is sewing machines. And the funny thing is, if you think that's a lot, Alibaba, can I go on Fred Sanford's channel? I have a question. I have a YouTube question. Can I go on somebody else's channel and show some of their stuff? Or will I get a copyright strike? Because I constantly talk about Fred Sanford, but like I'm nowhere near that. I'm still under. I can't even say the number out loud because I don't know. It's kind of like me and my age. Okay, if you've been watching me for a while, I dance around my age like it's hot coals. It's not that I don't accept it. It's not that I don't even know what it is. It's just that, I don't feel like I'm that. So I stopped counting at a certain age. This space we'll see. This space we'll see is all of what is left of a 5-car garage. I do live on that side of town. I wish I had a 5-car garage. I assure you got them working and turned them over for a profit. I did for a long time. For a long time, I was selling machines. I was making a ton of money. And then the Rona hit. And I became... And I'm not into equivocation. I think people who equivocate are weird. If you're into something, be into it, So in no way, shape, or form am I equivocating or saying or coming with a disclaimer on this one. Just ask young Mr. Great to see you, Butterfly. Great to see you. He would so tell on me. Do you know what's so funny? Greg Bryan, he put a comment in my community page, and like it was supposed to be funny, but I was like, it sounded like he was concerned, and that made me laugh even harder. We have to look at it now. This is nothing but love, Greg Bryan. If you watch this in the future, this is nothing but love, because it's hilarious to me. And the funny thing is, I know quite a few sewing machine hoarders, and I'm junior compared to some people that I know. Like, I know people that are in the thousands, like thousands and thousands. Oh, that reminds me. Marquette told me about a museum. I need to start writing things down when people talk to me. There is a museum right by my house that has classic cars, Victorian furniture, and all kinds of real stuff. And he looked at me and he's like, that's totally up your alley. I forgot about that. I know trends and you know how to take some good pictures. I used to, like, my justification was I sold a couple of featherweights and then I sold one for $1,000, and I'm not kidding you, still to this day, that $1,000 that I sold that sewing machine for wouldn't equal every sewing machine in this room, because I'm paying $10, $20, $30 at the most if I really, really want it. Equivocation. I think some of mine would go for 500 plus. And, as somebody who still sells stuff online, find a fanatic. When I'm really into something, I'll pay money for it. I really will. Yeah, great to see you, Butterfly. Oh, yeah, I was going to show. Hold on, let me click on my community page. It was 2 sewing machines ago now. But Greg Bryant had me falling on the ground. Where's the comment? Oh, where's the comment? Oh, here we go. Yay. And this is better. Like I used to go to bars. This is a lot better than hanging out at bars. What's the best, worst, and most reliable machine you own? It's really funny how that works out. Um, Something like this. This is a perfect example of a sewing machine that is a workhorse. This thing, I have no idea why it works so well, but this is a total clone wannabe white sewing machine, and it's become a workhorse. But with that being said, like I had a Genome that I ran into the ground. Um, I'm biased towards Husqvarna Vikings because that was the first machine I paid full price for. I don't know. The worst sewing machines I've ever come across are white sewing machines. And that's why I'm so surprised that worked. I've learned a lesson. I would go for Art Deco machines. I'm in love with the James Bond 1970s, 1960s look. And if the sewing machine looks like a Romulan warbird, I'm a nerd. I'm going to buy it. So I had to learn to stop buying avocado green white sewing machines because they didn't work. They didn't work. I own at least 6 or 7 of them, and only 2 of them work. I own a bunch of Belvedere sewing machines. It's one of the fanciest sewing machines I've ever seen. It's a clone. It's a clone. Doesn't work. That thing, if it's a white, they are good. Warbirds. I don't know, man. I've as somebody who collects sewing machines, that's a good question. Because there are certain like the more vintage, they're more likely to work, but there were a lot of duds. There were a lot of sewing machines that were put out just, to be like as competition for the real ones. There's a Kenmore that people think looks Darth Vader-ish. I have this really weird thing when it looks like a Romulan warbird, or if it's avocado green. I Under the cabinets back here, I own like at least 20 avocado green sewing machines. I have no idea why I did that to myself. I love vintage machines, and I also love my baby locks. Exactly. And the funny thing is, like, I show a lot of the modern machines I buy, but I don't even show a lot of the vintage machines I buy. I still do sell them here and there, but I'm telling you, when I sold that one machine, it justified my entire habit. I went back to see. There was a machine last week that they had on hold. I'd never seen it before, and they're like, "Yeah, somebody's gonna come and buy." I didn't believe them, and somebody did. I'm still not over it. But I think when somebody's into something, they look crazy to somebody who's not into something. Like, I have a friend who has over 500 pairs of sneakers. I think he's crazy. But I guarantee you, he's talking right now. He's in a conversation right now and being like, at least I don't own 500 sewing machines. So it just depends on what side of the fence you're on. It truly depends on what side of the fence you're on. And the funny thing is, I bought a pair of sneakers from the Goodwill, and he freaked out on me because he's like, "Oh, they're in the other room." He's like, "These are blah 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 rare." Every time I wear them, he's like, "You're wearing like hundreds of dollars on your feet." I'm like, "I don't care." I truly wear them just to troll them. I have such a good feeling when I sell a featherweight and the person really appreciates how awesome it is. And I think that's another thing. Just like the 404, I have always had people who have been sewing in my life. So it means something to me, you know? And you got to capitalize on that as a capitalist. Sell to a fanatic. We are absolutely, absolutely. I know people who collect bottle cap openers, all kinds of just crazy belt buckles, all kinds of crazy stuff. I think it's good if it brings you value to you and your life. Exactly. My thing is too, I also make things like I sew as well. So when I first came into the game, the YouTube sewing game in general, I have no idea that there were people who just collected sewing machines, and then there were people who would sew. I thought they were intertwined. And in a way they are, because if you sew for a lifetime, you will collect sewing machines because they're gonna, you're gonna be like, you're gonna want to upgrade or get a new one. But I had no idea that they were two different worlds. So I love combining that world because I am a sewing machine hoarder, but I actually use them. And I pride myself because my house isn't cluttered. It's just this room and my walk-in closet. I pride myself on that. I used to collect pens and I hate manual writing. What's funny? I love I'm tactile. I still love writing. That is so funny. I said this a while ago when my grandmother passed away. She collected buttons. And I'm not kidding you. She would cut buttons off of couches. There was a button. I still have it. I remember looking at it and I'm like, where is that from? I saw a picture of the couch it came off of. I have the picture in this room. People have the craziest vices. When she died, I'm not kidding you, I found thousands upon thousands of buttons in her house. She had them everywhere. Everywhere. I love buttons. I have an extensive button collection. What's funny? I used to sew with a lot of her stuff, but I keep a lot of her stuff now. I'm a pencil person. Do you know what's really funny? And I know this is weird because my father was a hoarder. When he passed away as well, when I was going through his stuff, the man had I'm not kidding you, I found over 1,000 something Snapple pencils. If you ever want a Snapple pencil, I got you. I've got you. Thousands. I'm not even kidding you. Like, I'm being nice by saying thousands. I quit counting. Let's just put it that way. My grandma used to have a bunch of those. Man, those are the good times. She never had a button that matched what you needed, though. It's true. And you know what's funny? To me, a lot of the bags are worth more than the buttons because, like, in California, we had a place called Mervin's. I don't know if anyone remembers that, but I have a bunch of Mervin's memorabilia, a bunch of J.C. Penney's. I worked at a Robinson's May, so anything that says Robinson's May, I'm like, oh, I'm going to keep that. Oh, good times. Good times. If I won the lottery, I would have 300,000 square feet. No, 30,000 square feet of one bedroom. That's why you got to get a warehouse. I think about that all the time. I'm thinking about going full MacGyver. But warehouses are crazy too in California. You got to be a millionaire, a multi-millionaire. That's hilarious. Where the heck did all those Snapple pencils? Thank you. I have a bunch. It's the strangest thing. And my father collected pens or pencils from every job he ever had. And some of the stuff he collected, I'm like, I don't even know if this is legal to own this. Got to be careful with those ex-military people when they take stuff home from work. You could get charged for that. I'm not kidding you. The Vietnam era Navy had such a pilfering problem that they started special making tools because people were pilfering stuff so much. So if you have tools and they say property of the United States, fill in the blank, don't tell anybody. Oh, good times. Good times. The Snapple pencils were something that, but as somebody who hoards something, I understand. But the difference is what I hoard, they're humongous. I cannot hide these. In no way, shape, or form could I hide this. Nor would I want to, but you could hide, let's say, 2,000 pencils. They're in if they're in a box tidy, you would never notice it. You'd be like, oh, it's just that box that's been there forever, But if I had 2,000 sewing machines, you would be like, this man has completely lost the plot. Oh, I guarantee you, if I reached in my drawer right now, I would find a Snapple pencil. Is there anything crazy that you guys collect? I know we're sewing machine people. Most of us are sewing machine people here. I have, I can't believe I'm about to say this. I own probably like 700 or 800 black t-shirts. If not more, because in the past 5 years, I've given away over like 300 or 400. Because there's a charity that I've worked with for years, and I give them my stuff. But the thing is, they count everything you give them, and they do it for tax purposes. But it's embarrassing when they hand you an invoice and they're like, "Here, t-shirt hoarder." I forced myself to quit collecting things. It's the weirdest thing. Like, black is my color. Like I said, I'm weirdly gothic, and I don't even know why. Black is my color. I wear it for everything, and I kind of fell into it. Black and denim. It's the weirdest thing. It's strange though. I don't like. There's a lot of things I do not collect. After about 3 moves, I grew tired of having to pack stuff. I think that's my problem. I haven't moved since I've come back from Portland. And that was, you want to know how long I've been back from Portland? My son is 14. I've been back 15 years. That's the problem. And because of that, hey, Greg, how's it going? I haven't got a sewing machine for over a year now, Ollie. That's awesome. That's awesome. I used to collect sacks from all my travels. Wow, they were colorful. I wanted to wallpaper a wall with them. That's awesome. I love stuff like that. I have a problem where they hand out a lot of swag bags. I collect all that stuff. All that stuff. My soul started into the abyss, and my soul stared into the abyss, and it stared back at it. It sure did. And the abyss, I meant great to see you, Greg. Great to see you. Great to see you. I loved your comment. Your comment, if I was drinking coffee, when you commented on my sewing machine, I showed everybody your comment. That's how much I loved your comment. I could have spit my coffee out. I was laughing. I woke up to that, and I thank you for that. Because I woke up laughing. I was a military kid and got used to moving 1 to 2 to 3 years only in one spot. Yikes. Yay. Hello. My goodness, Oliver. That's impressive. Absolutely. I've lived in the same places. But with that being said, throughout my 20s, I didn't have I moved every 6 months. I was a traveler for over 10 years. So I know how it is to move around. But the funny thing is, and people always laugh at me because it's almost unbelievable if you see me now, I was a minimalist. When I was in my 20s, I only owned enough stuff that could fit in my car. Look at me now. 20 years later, I own everything. I'm supposed to move this year, putting it off because cost, but got another one in me. Yikes. Moving is the worst. It is the worst. I take pride in my ability to menace the chat forum. No, you know what, Greg? Some chats need to be shaken up every once in a while. Moving, I did a lot in my 20s, and I think that's one reason why I like my next move. I'm gonna live there for a while. I own so much stuff. Do you know I have not been to my storage unit in over a year because I don't want to deal with it? I got military grade moving boxes and they were so perfect to use. It made it easy. I had a ton of boxes in here, but somebody recently moved and I was like, here, you can have all of them. I need the space for sewing machines. Moving is the worst though. It is absolutely the worst. I can't believe this sewing machine works. Good for you. Good for you, sewing machine. I think about that all the time. Every time I bring something new in here, I'm like, there's mirrors all around. So when I say I'm looking in the mirror, I'm not kidding you. I'm like, one day you're going to have to move all of this because I don't want to live in my town. My town doesn't necessarily reflect who I am. And I'm from here, but my town has been gentrified in the way where there's mansions everywhere. So the air of this town has changed, and I no longer reflect that. And that's okay. It's okay, but I'm choosing to move on. I'm going to take my hillbilly talents. I want to move them to South Beach, like LeBron James said. I spent the entire day drenched in sweat and dirt and just got out of that end of the day shower. Do you know what Texas is? Do you know what's so funny, Butterfly? When I first started streaming, I told you at this point, not more than 15, now almost 20 people I know from my area have moved to Texas. And a lot of people have moved to Austin, Texas, to the point where I was watching a video the other day and somebody was saying, don't Californianize Austin like blah, blah, blah. And I was like, it kind of hurt my feelings, but I'm sensitive. But it's true. A lot of people from California have moved to Austin, Texas. But I was like, oh, they notice. Everyone might be as good as all, but that shower is amazing. I was thinking about this because I was taking my end of the day shower. I work on a ranch. You have to shower all the time. So I'm in the shower and I'm like, this is what makes us civilized. Indoor plumbing. Indoor plumbing is what separates us from everybody else. It was so glorious because I picture myself, like even at the ranch I work at, they have a water tank so big. I don't even want to say the specs because of FICA. I legally can't, but it's enough for a city, but we take water for granted. But showering is so glorious. I'm like a Roman. If I love baths and showers, I have double shower heads in my bathroom. I'm not kidding you. And it's not even because I'm cool. It's because I stand there like this. Oh. You know what? I had all kinds of crazy plans, but let's make something. We're sitting here talking. This new home is working for some reason. Let's make something. This material has been floating around my washer for about a month now. I've washed this about 4 or 5 times because I just saw a pile and I'm like, oh, wash it. So let's make something out of this since it's been thoroughly vetted in this room. It's wild that for most of human history, people would get that full on work outside in July and dirty and just splash around in a river and call it good. I think about that all the time too. As somebody who works near an active river, I think about that now. Or even people washing their clothes in the river. Yikes. All right. You know, the mood really changes in this room when the lights are low. Let me see if my other angle is working. Sand wash in the creek. Oh, that's exactly what it is. That is quite literally exactly what it is. All right. All right, let's get some lights going in here. It's been unreal hot lately. And the older I get, I cannot take the heat. All right, let me get my table. You know, I brought my brother PE 535 out just to guilt myself to use it more. And I feel like it's time to tell the annual story of how I acquired that machine so that I burned the dirt off. Thank you so much for stopping by, Butterfly. Have a great night. Have a great night, Butterfly. Thank you so much. And don't worry about Greg Bryan. He's seeking help. I was a hoe turned into a housewife. I'm headed out to have a great night. Thank you so much for stopping by, Rashawn. Thank you so much for stopping by. I live in a part of Canada that was very gross in the past. They would wear bare fat under a onesie. Yikes, underwear and wear that all lumber season. Have a great night, Butterfly. Yikes. Yikes. Fall to spring, they would just stink. You know, I've worked all kinds of hardcore manly jobs, and I don't know if I could work with people like that. I'll be leaving you alone too. Just what, man? Come on in. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. Hello, hello. And I know it's late on the East Coast. To all of us West Coasters, it's the night's just starting. And you know I probably won't be going too long myself because I do stream a lot and make a lot. And I'm working on a scarf video right now. But without crocheting it, what ideas do you guys have for making scarves? Because there's all different types of ways. There's so I have just completely fallen down the rabbit hole of the world of scarves. And I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to like stick myself to like 3 different styles and just go from there. So look out for that. There is gonna be a how to make a scarf video coming out really soon. I am a great white northerner. Weave and then pile brush and with mohair. Plaids, of course. I weirdly got a couple oopsies today. Do you know what's so sad? I should just stop making excuses of why I purchased these things in the first place. I still have a ton of material that's like this that I got from downtown on my first trip to the fashion district. So I'm thinking about making a fabric. I'm thinking about making a scarf out of this, but we'll see how it goes. But I purchased this to make a scarf out of it. It's burgundy, but problem is it's all plush. And so I kind of want to make a shirt out of it now. Because this material feels amazing. Oh, all right. Let me grab my table. If you work in the aerospace industry and they're having a business expo at your job, run. To go back on what we were talking about. What pattern should I pull out? Do you know it's been a while since I've made anything with a giant hood on it. It's been a while. And I feel like I need to go back to my 90s hoodie phase. Oopsies are handy. They are. They are. I absolutely love my oopsie pile. I guilt myself. I guilt myself. Plush wood, maybe roll. You know what? That is a good. I need to keep on saying that. I need to stay focused because I want to make something, but it's just gonna turn into a 90s hoodie, you know? And I said I was gonna make a scarf video, and I'm going to. You just want to wear it. Hey, you rub your nipples. Well, that too. See, you said giant hood, and I had to stop myself from taking it too far. Do you know what's really funny? There's actually a whole list of things that I stopped saying. I have an extremely hardcore California twang, and we talk funny. When I would buy fabric, I would always say, and then she flopped it out on the table. And everybody would laugh. And I was like, what are you talking about? She flopped the fabric out. I literally had to stop saying flopped it out on YouTube because people couldn't take it. You couldn't support the burgundy fuzz fabric in the center of two fashion layers. And then in the church style, put your patches on the ends. I like that. I like that. Ooh, I like that. I need to write this down. Because like I said earlier, I got a really good suggestion, and I should have been writing it down as the person was talking. All right. All right. So I'm grabbing Simplicity Pattern S9 158. This is old, reliable. This guy and I go way back. You have to stop saying flop it out and start doing flop it out. It's the way I speak, though. You know, where I live, people still say rad. People still say tubular. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. I heard tubular in passing, and I'm like, good. Keep it alive. Keep it alive. It's almost a test. It's almost a test when somebody where I'm from sees something that's awe-inspiring, that's like almost breathtaking. People will say, that's rad. But people do not talk like that. I don't see that. I don't see that. It just popped into my head. My first fashion design. Patent damn. Hey, Alibaba, I'm telling you. Patent pending. Point at everybody and be like, I will sue you. That is my legal waiver for everything. Do they still say stoked? Yes, I actually recently said it in my video. That's a default. I had to stop saying that too, because when I started hanging out, especially when I started hanging out with the Aussies, it dawned on me that like a lot of no, stoked is different, but there were certain words they were like, "What did you say?" Especially when I started hanging out with people from the UK, there was or like saying I'm pissed. In America, that means you're angry. In the UK, that means you're drunk. Those are two completely different meanings. I'm sorry. Those are two different streets, you know, but we speak the same language. Rad. No way. No way, dude. No way. Do they still say tubular, dude? I'm so stoked, dude. Where I'm from, people seriously talk like that. Like, I had to stop. You see, like, Greg has never seen me code switch. Kilroy Alibaba, you know what my real accent is. I had to stop that because people make fun of, and it's so funny. I was watching a skit where somebody was talking about their job voice, and there was two women sitting on the couch, and she was like, "Oh, this is my job voice," and I'm like, "Oh, her code switching is how I really talk." Yes, kids, how's it going? Rah, rah, rah. Hello, hello. I'm just kind of farting around, hanging out tonight. I'm thinking about making a shirt. How's it going? How's your evening going? Hello, hello. Oh. Greg Greg Bryant took your lead as far as telling me to get help with my sewing machine habit. I can't type American, Canadian, Irish, and I can type American, Canadian, Irish in London. And Barnsley. Oh, that's an accent. Yeah, awesome. 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 You guys doing anything exciting? This whole summer I've been trying to get my kid to do something exciting, but he just wants to have an MMA summer. We're going to go somewhere before school starts because where I live, they start in August, in the middle of August. And back in the day, they used to give kids 3 full months. And now it's like 2 months, maybe a month and a half. Oh, I can bear, some what? Townsend, mate? All right, let me grab this pattern. It has been a while since I've made anything with a decent hood. I've been trying to get my kid to just do something fun this year, But he's obsessed with his MMA, and I respect it. There's nothing wrong with that at all. No. Beautiful. I haven't lived in California, New York, Texas, Arkansas, Chicago, and Indiana. My accent is a clown show. I have a very distinct Southern Californian accent, and I had to work at it to not sound like that. Because even people from Southern California were like, dude, the second you leave this state, someone's gonna clock you. Michael Jordan was out of town, and LeBron was busy whining to the referees. Spud Webb says, "Stop it, get some help." Oh, Spud Webb, I miss that whole era. Greg, at one time I had a problem at school for my accent. It was Canadian with a European altered accent. I still say just as church such. My accent though, let's be real though. Let's be real. When it is jarring to people when they hear how I actually talk. It is scary to some people when they hear my actual accent because it's almost a bit of a stereotype. I would have only mocked you if the accent was Welsh or French. Accents are funny that way. Like even New York accents. Like a lot of people make fun of New York accents, but people are from there. They actually sound like that, you know? It was on sale. At Walmart. The funny thing is, I had a plan. I even came with a list this time to Walmart. I had a plan. I was I was doing good. I got everything I could because I don't know who knows this, but in California, at least in Southern California, I can only speak for where I live. All the important stuff at the stores is behind glass. So sometimes I do not feel like asking people for help that aren't there. So I got everything I needed. And I'm wandering around the store, and I may or may not have bought more oopsies and then made a left, and Lower Decks was on sale. Now a bit French, but Quebec. I forgot I could type Welsh. You know what though? Because of Doctor Who, I have Bladrug everywhere. Everywhere. I have Bad Wolf. I have a shed I made. I made this beautiful shed. I walked in my house. I grabbed walked in my garage. I grabbed a bottle of spray paint and I put Bladrug, Bad Wolf in Welsh because I watched way too much Doctor Who. Too bad shopping has gone like that. It's true. It's true. Shopping has gone like that. It's sad though. Like everything is behind glass. I just accept it. I accept it for what. Hey, Native, how's it going? Great to see you. Great to see you. Kidder and I went to the park, tossed the football, played catch with baseball, and went swimming in the creek. Awesome. Swimming destroys me. I am so tired by the end of the day. How's it going, Native? Great to see you. Great to see you. I was watching a travel YouTuber with a strong New York accent. Dude speaks Chinese and Vietnamese. Sounds like an idiot. And see, that's the thing. That's why I switched my accent, because my accent did not like. I would talk and people would be like, "You really don't talk like that, do you?" And I'd be like, "I really do. I really do." But I would have liked baseball skits, but the other stuff sounds great. In a weird way, the people I was in the hockey league, we still play old man everything, like old man football, all that stuff. Accents are funny that way. They just are. I have a very stereotypical Southern Californian accent. And I get offended when people do because there are people who actually talk like that. And they can't help it if they talk a bit slower. And that's another thing. Where I'm from, the speech is very paced. It's very paced. It's very selective as well. And the rest of the world doesn't have time for that. The rest of the world is on like New York time. Get your point out. Say what you have to say. I need to move on. In my head, you just sound like AC Slater. Ah. Do you know what's so funny? I tell people that I went to Bayside. Lisa Turtle was my first girlfriend. I'll take that. Mario Lopez is the new Dick Clark. That guy has more money than the Pope. I've lived in so many places. I sometimes do hear the accents or notice. That is true. I'm like that. I've been to Maine. If I hear any kind of Maynard accent, I'll stop and talk to the person because they're shocked that I could recognize their accent. I'm like that with a lot of places, but Maine more than anywhere else. But like I said, accents are funny that way. Or they become stereotypical, like the Californian accent or the New Yorker accent. And the thing is, people actually talk like that. I'm actually watching a show right now where it's a fashion show, and all the contestants are from all around America, and one's from New York and one is from the deep south, and she has a hardcore Georgia accent, and not like the one you think, not the huckle, not the Mark Twain refined southern accent. But they exploit it so much. It's sad and it's noticeable. Wait, so you hear someone speak with a New England accent and ask them to speak more? No, I actually dated someone from Boston and somebody from Well, no, I need to stop saying the town they're from. It wasn't Bangor, but I need to stop saying that because the town is so small. You'd be able to actually find it. But I've been there, and I can tell the difference between the accents. That's all I'm saying. Chowder, chowder. See, but that's another thing. Um, I have gone all the way to San Francisco for a red chowder sourdough bowl. Are you kidding me? I know that the San Francisco I remember may or may not be functioning, but I I used to love going to San Francisco and getting a giant sourdough bowl with red chowder. Oh, at the wharf. Good, those were the days. Put their Earl in the cow. Put their Earl in the car. I couldn't do it. Just stop talking, not because you're from Boston. Do you know what it was? Is we fell in love when we were kids, and then we got back together as adults. She was from a really, 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 really rich family, and on the East Coast is just different than the West Coast. Like we have hardcore etiquette here, and it's just different. It's just different, and so we clashed. Life goes on. But people are just different, and I'm not saying everybody from Boston is like that. This person was high society Boston to the point where their family still owns half of my town, quite literally. Oh, right. You know what? Let's make a scarf. I'm gonna put this pattern away. Let's do something funky. I've been making shirts for a while now. I'm not gonna go too long tonight. Let's make a scarf. I'm gonna put this away. I have a ton of black scarves. So let's make a scarf. Why not? I have that weird oopsie material. Is that 4 yards? Excuse me. Let's make a couple scarves. I promised I was going to make a scarf video, so I need to make some for my video anyway. And I have a feeling that I'm going to be up for a while this evening, so I'll make the video. Sundays are the strangest thing. I want to go to my local swap meet, but it's closing, and like getting up at 7 o'clock on my day off is just not feasible. And the only good time to go to a flea market is either right when it opens up or right before it's about to close, because that's when everyone's ready for a deal. So I don't know. That's my excuse. And the sad thing is they're closing the swap meet by my house, and it's been around, like all the locals it's been around as long as we can remember. So it's sad to us, but the truth is no one's going. So of course they're going to shut it down. And the sad thing is, do you know what they're going to put there? Apartments. Like, we need more apartments in Southern California. We don't. It would be more feasible if they put like a park or a reserve or something, but it's more houses that no one can afford to live in. Let's see, what kind of scarf do I want? I'm going to start with this baby blue and white oopsie because it's very much in that scarf fashion. But I just want to say for the record, I'm cracking into the oopsie pile. Even though I contributed to it more today. I forget I am new to your chat. I'm not mean. I'm just in it. You're fine, Greg. You're fine. Trust me. Like I said, could you imagine what people first thought of me when I stepped into Rashawn's chat and I started saying the crazy things that I did? Like, this is the internet. It's the internet. See, there's my Southern California right there. Like, you're fine. As long as you're not being malicious, have at it. I will warn you, though, I am sensitive and I do get my feelings hurt. Oh. See, with this, yeah, I think I'm going to cut it from this angle because I think I'm going to use this as a no-sew scarf. And then with the other side, I'm going to make it as a sewn. I'm going to sew both sides. I think that's how I'm going to do it. Because if you think about it, there's a ton of ways to make a scarf. And which I didn't until I started getting into it recently. And then there's a whole debate about different cultures and all these things. I constantly have to say this because of my last scarf that I made that shut the internet down. I am a shrub who sews in his garage and I live in the West. Everything I do is culture appropriation. I am not trying to hurt anyone's feelings. I love sewing. It is literally what I do. It is literally what I do. I bought the Tom Baker scarf for $100 from Etsy's. It's 6 feet long and it's worth every penny. I've seen a ton of those. I would 2 sides at least and turn it out. Yeah, you're right. I'm going to do the many different ways of making a scarf. But you are right. When I heard someone's feelings, I offer them a tugger to make it bad. Do you know what's so funny? Where I'm from, the joke goes in the opposite direction. That is actually considered insulting. Because you could have done that by yourself. Oh, that's so funny. Now that's funny. All right, let me switch my angle. No. I have to run from that angle because this camera overheats. And it's the funniest thing how my $9 Amazon camera works better than this $40 or $50 thing that just literally gets too hot and shuts down everything. And with StreamYards, it locks all my cameras out. Still to this day, I do not know what it is. I'll have you know, I have very pretty. Where is my ruler? All right. So people go all different types of sizes. I'm trying to think because I was watching a tutorial and this person had this giant piece of material and they just turned it into a scarf. And I'm like, that's kind of cheating. But then I sat down and I was like, I'm going to make a scarf just like that. It is between the two screens. That might be it. Oh, because it's overheating. You know what? I never thought about that. I do have a ton of electronics in this room. This room is like a CIC to a ship in the Navy. Like if you were in the Navy and you walked in here, you'd be like, this is like a control room. I have monitors everywhere in here. So that could be part of the problem. Like at late at night, I turn off all the lights with all the monitors in here. I'm glowing like Mr. Barnes in that one episode where he's wandering in the woods in The Simpsons. Gosh, I'm old. That was 100 years ago. Well, how thick is the fuzzy material? The fuzzy material, it's really weird because the fur is what the thickness is, but what it's glued to is actually fairly thin. That's why it's easy to sew. The furry material is actually really weird to work with. It could be the same proximity interference. You know what? I'm really just from the screens. I've been investing in all these different types of fans and all these things. Every summer, I would take all of my computers and bring them in my closet, but my wardrobe has grown. And I've because back then, like my closet, I had a ton of stuff in there, but I have a bunch of cabinets. I have clothes everywhere in that room now. Everywhere. I still have a space for my so-called closet computer, but everything else, there's just no space for it. You are right, though. All right. Oh, Kilroy and Joy, if you guys are watching this, you guys are missed. So I'm going to make this fairly large because I'm going to copy what I saw because I really liked her idea. So I'm going to go 20 inches. Perfect. Cut. Perfect. And because it's hanging off the table, it's falling perfect. So let me grab the rest. Beautiful. One of the reasons I was so reluctant to make the scarf video too is that, like, I'm done. Like, this is one extremely easy way to make a scarf. So I walk into a machine shop with big burly men. We had a new machinist and everyone was afraid of him. I spent a week trying to convince him. I seriously sold tuggers at a truck stop on the weekend. Oh, you are that guy. You're the reason that I have to read a safety briefing every morning. I just thought maybe move the camera to the left of the small screen and give us the money shot on the angle of the fabric going under the foot. That's not a bad idea. It's just there's a problem. Like, that's not a bad idea at all. Hey, Ty, how's it going? Great to see you. As the action cam. I like that. I like that idea. Folks, I really like that idea. It's just this camera's driving me crazy because I don't know why it's not working. Hey, Ty, how's it going? Good to see you. Good to see you. I love if this is your new avatar, I love it. I love it. If it's your old one, I still love it. That's a scarf. Couple cuts. You know what the funny thing is? I was watching a video, and when I die, I will go out a legend. Usually don't step over there either. There's so much electronics in that corner. I try to stay out of there. Okay, Ellie, I don't know if you're doing it on purpose, but you keep saying the dirtiest thing. Ollie is trying to give me instructions, Greg. Ollie is doing what? Yay. Hello, hello. Absolutely. Absolutely. Awesome. I love a new thumbnail. I'm somebody who I haven't changed my thumbnails since like yikes. Since like Barack Obama was president. See? Boom. Perfect scarf. And now I look like I'm in Handsome Boy modeling school, which was an underground group. If you ever hear me refer to Handsome Boy modeling group, it was a late 90s rap group. They were like LA underground. There was no such thing as Handsome Boy modeling school. Oh, anything turns gray. Remind me of. I don't have an icon, not once. There's a ton of ways to make scarves. When this stream's over, I'm going to make a scarf video. Do you know what's really funny? Something happened to me today that am I wearing the pants? No, I'm not. It happens all the time. Let me see if I can find a pair of pants. Because I am the real life Fred Sanford. I am always wearing of course, both of these are not going to prove my point. All right, let me go grab my jeans real quick. Oh, thank you, Ty. Thank you. I would two sides it and turn it out. How thick is the fuzzy? Is the fuzzy? Give us the money, Sean. Am I not making this? I'm not making this up. That's more fashion, Greg. See, you got to get up in people's business with fashion. Thank you. Thank you, Greg. You're such a quoter. You are a quoter. That is the first time in 20 years anyone has mentioned Handsome Boy Modeling School. I loved Handsome Boy Modeling School. I was really into underground hip hop like in the late 90s, 2000s. You know, when you're a kid, you think you're a revolutionary, you know? Oh, I don't know who needs to hear this, but water is life. Drink some water. Oh. But there's a million ways to make a scarf. So that's one. But before I go on to making another scarf, I wear my keys. I am the real life Fred Sanford. Wasn't trying to bird dog you, just can't tell if you're pulling a letter Kenny on me. I'm not. I promise I'm not. I grew up around old black men that smoked pipes, wore glasses, and wore keys. I'm not kidding you. A long line of them. I continue the tradition. I wear my keys on my pants. But over the years, there's a problem that happens is that it literally snaps your pants. Today, I was at Walmart. I turned a corner, I hooked something, and my keys fell on the ground, and I was like, uh-oh. And so I was walking through Walmart, pulling my pants up because the whole back half of my pants, oh, the whole back part of my pants were missing a loop. So I'm walking to the store, pulling my pants up every like 15 steps. Oh, so this evening I'm going to find every pair of pants when sorry that a good lanyard gives me the stiffness. I'm glad I don't have too many keys. I am the real life Fred Sanford. I am the real life, like, I asked my son, I said, tell me the honest truth. When you hear keys jingling, do you think of me? And he said, yes, I do. I have to hold my keys if I want to sneak up on people. And this is only one set. This opens up every door at my job. This is the domestic set for the house and everything. And then I have a whole other set for all the cars and everything. But it destroys my pants. So now I have to fix the belt loops on all my pants because I'm the real life Fred Sanford. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. And I love wearing my King's lanyard and showing off, but it hooks everything. And I'm old. I should know better. I turn a corner and I'm like, I can feel it when I'm like grabbing something and taking it with me. Because I'm basically wearing ropes on my pants. I don't wear keys, but I do destroy my pants. Oh my God, I want so many keys, Fred. Hold on, let me show you the one. So my job has many different buildings. They were built from the 1950s up. We've changed the locks on a few, blah, 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 but I have every inception of every key that's ever come through my job. You need a master key with the lanyard. Let me show you. Let's see if I can find it somewhere in this mess. I don't know. It got buried in here because I really don't need it. Oh, here it is. So I actually condensed the amount of keys. This is the old one from my job. Was that a Ghostbusters reference? You need a master key with a lanyard. This was from my old job. I learned this from my boss because we have a bunch of different vehicles. I buy the matchbox that matches the car, and then I put the key on that. But we don't even have that car anymore. But this is my giant thing of keys. This I can't wear on a pair of pants. Maybe if I put it on my utility belt, I could wear this. But if you look, like, this is a novelty carabiner for this. It literally says not for climbing, but I needed something giant to hold these keys. But like, there's all different kinds of locks, all different kinds of things that you need keys for. So I'm a stereotype. I am definitely a stereotype. Those are the retired keys because a lot of it we do have a master key and some of them are like interchangeable. So I just took all the important keys off of that ring and was like, you're being retired. Because some of the keys on there are from a building that was built in 1955. A lot of those buildings were built in the 50s. And they cemented those locks on. And the gym, and it's no secret, but if you ever watch any of my videos and you see me skating in a gym, that was a bomb. Well, it still is. It's a bomb shelter. I used to be that guy. I just stopped locking doors. Man, where I live, well, no, it's different. Like where I live, you're more likely to get your Cadillac converter stolen because people are just crazy chewing their jaw around here. But you can't do that in LA. You can't just leave your doors unlocked. When I lived in Oregon, I can't say her name. I dated this woman who's the exact age as I was. She lived in Oregon her entire life. I came from California. We lived together. It bothered her that I locked the car doors and I locked the front door. I couldn't sleep at night with the front door unlocked. She was like, "You're crazy," and I'm like, "How can you do that?" But it all depends on where you're from, you know. And I never got used to that. They would get mad at me because they'd get to the car and be like, "Why is the car locked?" And I'm like, "Why is the car not locked?" But also I lived out in the country with them and they knew everybody. Nobody was stealing anything, you know. Oh, there's no way. Can you do that? Can you sleep in a place with everything's unlocked? Maybe it's because I watched too many scary movies as a kid. I couldn't necessarily do that. I leave my door unlocked sometimes. You know what? I live in a good neighborhood, and I give my son a hard time when I get in my car. My car's unlocked. I'm like, "I thought I told you to lock my car." Wow. Sometimes I think it's because I was raised by a Vietnam veteran. He gave me the gift of ultra paranoia. If they were going to rob me, I would rather they didn't break the window. Military, we lock the door every night. Thank you. See, Alibaba knows. I would like my pops was not old school nom, like, and he instilled. I think that's what it is. I grew up my whole life with security cameras, and we're talking like 1980s on. Well, he was an engineer, but my whole point is like, I thought that was normal. I thought it was normal to be heavily surveilled. I've left my front door open overnight before because I forgot to close it. I want to live somewhere like that. I want to live somewhere like that. I want to live somewhere like that. And you know what? You guys are going to like, I've been to Oklahoma, and Oklahoma's like that. I'm not even saying that to be funny. I'm not even saying that. Like, I want to live somewhere like that. Because around here, I live in a seeming paradise. Like, honestly, where I live, it's kind of like paradise. It's a tropical paradise. We lock all of our doors. Military raised by a tunnel rat and the Marines. I just stopped caring. For me, I'm more surprised of how many people you know what is the generations have changed, and I'm gonna fight someone. You try to steal my Cadillac converter, we are going to make the news. I'm gonna lasso you too. If you think I'm playing, I have my rope right by the garage door. I will lasso somebody. I'm gonna hog tie him and call the news first. I have cameras in the house, but only active when I'm not home. That's smart. That's smart. I gave my mom a bunch of cameras for that very reason too. For that very reason. You know what though? It's eerie. Like when when I was in Vegas, people came to my front door. I'm in Las Vegas talking to somebody at my front door because of that stupid ring. And I kind of like it and I kind of don't like it because I was on vacation and my ring went off and my anxiety went up because I'm like, what do these people want? Like I'm vacationing. So I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing to constantly be in contact with your house. I also live around people with power tools. A lock won't stop them. That's true. That is true. There are a few power tools that we call a key to the city. If they break in, I'm here. It's Thunderdome rules. They will earn anything they get. Oh yeah, I have ring too. It's cool. Do you know what has ruined me with the ring? The one thing that has ruined me with the ring is the neighborhood gossip. Oh my neighbors are so chatty and like, my neighbors are so chatty. And the ring also tells you what's like who's being robbed and what's going on. You know, I never knew there was so much action around here. And there's always like someone's always missing a cockatoo or a dog. Do not where I live, it's not necessarily conducive for little dogs because we have hawks and coyotes and all kinds of things. The ring's awesome though. I like it because like I said, I was in Las Vegas and I was like, no, I don't want this. Please get away from my house. Thank you. I quit reading the neighborhood. They are too jittery for me. I agree. I live next door. I live near a freeway. What happens is we get tire blowouts all the time. A big rig tire blowout sounds almost like a shotgun blast, but it's a big difference. And because we have tension walls and everything, it reverberates. And so you'll hear boom, 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 boom. It makes me jump every time, but it makes me laugh because I know because you can hear the trucker pulling over. But about 20 minutes later, everybody on the ring is like, what was that? What was that? I will say though, the other night I was sitting here live streaming. I heard a loud explosion. And right as I was clicking off, a bunch of people were like, hey, did you hear that? They were like, hey, did you hear that? Did you hear that? So I don't know. I have a love hate with the ring. You're right though. They do get way jittery around the neighborhood. There was one though. This one lady, like she got read off the app because she was basically complaining because one of the neighbors always had their garage door open. Then one day they pulled into their garage door and closed it. And they were going off about this, and people were like, man, you're the reason why we all need to get off the internet. I'm close to train tracks. Neighbors freak out about hearing crashes. Thank you. I used to live in an apartment that it was an apartment complex. It was huge, and there was a train track in the middle of it. That's crazy. If you live near train tracks, you should. Honestly, I got used to that. That's kind of like people that live near the airport. You get used to that sound. To me, that's soothing. But again, I'm a crazy person who sews. That's crazy. Like I see. That's why I can't be on that app because I would be like, it was a train, guys. As you were saying, this is my neighbor is firing of what sounds like 300 blackout. Oh, as you were saying this, my neighbor is firing of what sounds like 300 blackouts in his backyard. Not around here. They're so jumpy. And I know why. Well, a lot of it is because of fire. Where I live, fire destroys everything. So people are paranoid. But the one that got me, I've lived near Jed, and I like them. My cousin lived near. I told you the story a million times. I was in my cousin's pool, and I saw an SR-71 doing circles, and you could hear it. It was so low, you could hear it. And I'm like, "Is that normal?" He's like, "We live near a military base." I said, "Oh." Exactly. I don't hear him anymore. I'm immune to the sound. And that's what makes me laugh when I do my ASMR. When people are like, that's so peaceful. A part of what you're hearing in my backyard is the freeway. But that shh. Do you know what's so funny? When I was a kid, I have family members that live all across the country. The first time I stayed in a real country setting, I couldn't sleep because I'm so used to noise. I'm one of those people, I need noise around me to sleep. And I didn't even realize it because I grew up next to a freeway, and it was that noise that in a lot of ways I just got used to it. And I never forget the first time I was out in real rural country. It was the quietest place on earth. It felt like a deprivation chamber, because I'm so used to background noise. But somebody like that, like I had a cousin who came from there to here, and they're like, you live in the noisiest place on earth, and I can't hear it. It's like that with air quality too. I was back in LA in 2012 to drive my ex to med school interviews. I stepped out of the car and lit a cigarette, and this random lady lost her damn mind. It's no joke. It is. Yeah, I need white noise. That always drives me nuts. That man, we've had this conversation. I'm lucky I haven't gone live. I sleep with my phone because I need noise. And because of Alibaba, I'm subscribed to like every national park between here and Canada now. But Greg, do you know what's so funny right now? And it still trips me out because look, I'm trying to get there one day. In Malibu, it's illegal to smoke. You can't smoke in your car. You can't smoke in your house. When they made it illegal to have bonfires on the beach in California, we were like, what? but you can no longer smoke on the beaches of California. I understand why she did. Fire's a big issue. It just took me completely off guard. Oh, we don't play around here. Even at my job, so someone I know chased someone down because they flicked a cigarette in. We're in a dry field in a tractor, and he flicked his cigarette, and he chased him. Didn't find him though. The guy knew the canyon. But fire, man, fire season is no joke. And quite honestly, in the past couple of days, like I had two fires going over on different sides the past couple of weeks. I couldn't breathe the other day. I flat out couldn't breathe. I felt as somebody who's always lived near the sea level, the first time I went to Mexico City, I got sick because Mexico City is like Denver. It's a mile high. You almost have to like prepare yourself to get there. And I had that feeling again where my lungs were just so tight. So fires aren't terrible. When I was there, you could only smoke in your car. San Diego and LA is illegal to smoke in public. Well, we have a weird law where you can still smoke in bars. I'm not kidding you. This is the strangest thing. You have to ask every single person and they have to say yes. Every once in a while, I look up to see if that law is still valid, and it is. But no one's gonna say yes. No one. And in most, at least here, smoking is outdated. It's so weird, and I know this is gonna make me sound like I'm from the 1920s. But when I was younger, everybody smoked. Everybody. And now no one does. And I know the younger generation vapes and everything, but it's strange to me to not see people smoking. It's just weird to me because old school, I grew up in a family of people who smoked. So maybe that was part of the environment, but it just seemed like everybody did it. And now no one does. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. And I don't know who can afford to do it anyways, because packs of cigarettes are like, at least here, they're like 14, 15 bucks a pack. But do not take advice from me. I haven't smoked a cigarette in a very long time. Very long time. But when I go to my local Safeway, I always look at the price of the carton of Camels, and well, they don't sell tobacco products anymore, but when they used to, it was like almost $100 for a carton. I have God tier ADHD. Smoking is a reason I'm not a serial killer. I hear you. I had to stop smoking just because of health reasons. Let's just put it that way. I was like a chain smoker. The smoke in Japan, I might move there. Oh, they smoke in Japan. Oh, that's funny. As a kid, I'd preach to my neighbor about quitting smoking. Now I smoke sometimes. I had a really good friend, Ty, growing up, who in a very weird way looked like Tiger Woods. I can't say his nickname on air because I can't say it on YouTube. But when he started smoking, his mom grabbed him and she's like, do you remember? Like, I guess when he was a kid, he cried and like wrote her a letter and begged her to quit smoking. When she caught him smoking, she grabbed him. She was like, boy, I quit smoking because of you. Chicago was 17 a pack in 2015. You know what's so funny? And I know I'm old, but when I smoked, cigarettes were like $1.50. And then, I quit smoking when they went up to $5. But long story short, if someone asked for a cigarette, I would give them one. Imagine at $17 a pack, I'd be like, put $5 on it, I'll give you 2. Some areas in Germany, 40% smoke still. That's crazy. People still smoke here, but it's not as prevalent as it used to. You have 1 in 200 chances of getting cancer from smoking. You have 100% chance of a heart attack. I'm trying to live forever. I recently purchased a patch that says that. I recently purchased a patch that says I don't what does it say? What does it say? It says it says who wants to live forever. That's the patch that you want to be wearing when you get in an accident going 150 miles an hour. Let me check my notes. Let me check my notes. That was the craziest freaking business expo I've ever been to in my life. All right. So I am addicted to Amazon. It's no secret. I love wearing masks. I missed the mask mandate. Judge me. Judge me. But I recently, in my Amazon haze, I purchased something thinking it was going to be something that it wasn't. And I purchased this thinking it was going to be way thicker. And on screen, you know what the funny thing is? On screen, this thing looks a lot darker than what it really is. Oh man, my left and rights on YouTube are way off. But this thing was supposed to be 10 times thicker. This will not withstand the wind. There we go. Needless to say, this was a total fail on Amazon. I'm trying to I need new masks and everything. And thank you, Alibaba, you're right. This thing is almost, let's see if it's see-through. Let's see if it's see-through. It's not as advertised. And they said this thing would be a do-rag. It is see-through. It is, kind of. I have a ton of masks and gaiters. I love these things. I've made a few. Because at my job, in certain situations, I have to be wearing a mask. And so I have a bunch in my car. I have a box of masks in my car. It's almost see-through. I was so mad. And I ordered it because it said it was a better production. Because Amazon will flat out tell you, like, hey, go read the reviews, especially if something's frequently returned. It'll tell you this is a frequently returned item. You should check out the reviews. It was supposed to be 10 times thicker. You sound like my Oh, I'm gonna need my inhaler. After dealing with you, Greg, I'm gonna need my inhaler. But it is because, it's also because I have a light. You can see my dome. You can see my chrome dome right there through this thing. This thing is like pantyhose. Total Amazon fail. And like I can wear this while writing and stuff, but this will fade within a month. I need something that's going to withstand the wind. I live in an extremely windy area. I made the CDC emergency mask pattern. I used M600 or 800, I think, medical fabric. I looked like I was a surgeon on MASH. Oh man, my job buys those N90s or whatever those things are. I hide them in my car. I hide them. I would laugh if someone broke into my car for a mask. I would absolutely just fall on the ground because they are expensive. Those masks are expensive. I'm on one tonight. I spent the entire day filthy, and that shower hit different. Like I said earlier, Greg, that is what makes us civilized. When I was in the shower before the stream, I was like, oh, this is what separates us and the third world. Like, showers are amazing. Showers, like I am definitely Greek and Roman in that sense. All right. So for my second attempt, I'm gonna sew both sides of this. I'm going to even this out so it doesn't look too scruffy, but I'm just going to make this one giant scarf. You know what? I don't even know if I want to cut that down. I might keep it one piece. Let's see if this is see-through. It is. Well, kind of. It's not as bad as the cheap mask. They were premium masks. I did the smell test with the scented alcohol gel on my hands and only smelled alcohol, no scent. That's crazy. It's not quite better than sex, but it's better than an unenthusiastic hand job. Tie on and form fit. See, that's what I was saying. Like I watched. I did some scarf research. I did some research. Do you know, looking at myself, I got some sun. Look how shiny that is. Oh, I got some sun today. Oh, that's funny. Better than the other mask. I went through this crazy phase of making all these crazy masks. And with my cowboy hat, I ended up looking like the Lone Ranger. With half of I made this one. Man, I'm going to find that. I made a ton of crazy, crazy masks. I had this weird white canvas. And I just got bored one day and I started making all of these like masks. And none of them were approved. None of them. Actually, you know what? I might combine both material and make a long scarf. Why not? Somewhere in this room, I attempted to make my own interpretation of a Doctor Who scarf. I'll find it. It's long. It's ridiculous. I started with a UCLA scarf and I just started cutting it up. So it's all kinds of crazy, crazy colors. I was lucky in being a researcher. Looked in the right places. Research helps. But as somebody who there's a difference between research and going on Google. I love it when someone's like, I researched this. Did you Google it? Did you Google it? Because I think you Googled it. We are going to test out this new home. I'm going to turn that light off because you could cook an egg on that thing. It's getting so hot. All right. Let me pin this real quick. This is going to be really easy. I might sew both sides, but it's going to be an extremely large. Speaking of different cultures, nobody where I live ever wore a mask. Our Lowe's tried to require it, and they almost had to close the store. Honestly, it was the first time Californians ever listened. I was shocked. The grocery store I still go to it. They were so hardcore. They started hiring big beefy dudes as bouncers. I'm not kidding you. They had a 6'4" to 6'7" person on staff at all times. I am not kidding you. And all these years later, those dudes do not work there. Because I still go to the same store because it's like Cheers. It's like Cheers when I walk into this place. And they all love me because I go shopping with my mom and I pay for my mom. So they're like, look at this guy paying for his mother. So when I walk in, they give me respect at the grocery store. Good times. Got that right. I used international specifications and military U.S. NATO standards. Absolutely. Absolutely. Then went from past mass and ended up with the emergency measure books. Absolutely. Absolutely. Our Walmart did that for an hour. Then every single person walking in didn't have a mask. They just gave up on us. Absolutely. You know what? My parents, I wouldn't be in the position I am if it wasn't for my parents. So I try to go out of my pops isn't around, but I try to go out of my way to help my mom. Because when I was down and out, my dad basically subsidized my painting business until I got money. Well, I wasn't down and out. I was just young. I say down and out. I was just young. But he bought me my first professional paint gun. He helped me out, you know. So I try to help out my mom as much as I can. And she recently broke her foot too, so she needs lots of help. My mom's a toughie, so it's funny to see someone like that incapacitated. She's sitting there, she's like, I hate this boot. I'm like, you can't fight the boot, you just gotta deal with it. Oh. Oh, come on, iPhone. Come on. My ancient iPhone 7 isn't taking a charge. Yeah, she she fell and broke her foot. So we've been hanging out again. I'm catching up on Bravo on all the housewives, all the lower decks, on all the good stuff that my mom watches. It's good though, because quite honestly, when you get older, you get like, you know, she spends a lot of time alone and she still goes to work and everything. But like, man, when I'm her age, I'm gonna have a whole entourage. Oh, my stepdad got his gallbladder removed and refused all pain meds because he would have had to stay overnight in the hospital and he refused. Yeah, she broke her foot. And the funny thing is that like she's like, oh, it really hurts. It really hurts. And she went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, your foot is broken in 2 different places. So she's a mess. And I told her she needs to stop breakdancing. Oh, this is gonna be long. This is gonna be really long. It's gonna be Teddy long. All right. And this is on a just purchased refurbished sewing machine. So we're going to see how this goes. And I'm using orange thread because it's for a scarf. Why not? Oh, that's perfect. It's not going at 100 miles an hour like I'm used to, but it's sewing. This is the point where I get out of the car and run around a few times. Oh, that is so funny. And it's throwing down the perfect stitch, too. Wait, mama, breakdance is super dope. Yeah, but when you're in your 70s, it's super. I'm gonna break my foot. Are you kidding me? If I got in a dance battle and that dun 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 dun, dun, dun started playing, you'd see me and my mom coming in jumpsuits, ready to smash people. Some dude ran in a truck on his Harley and had a compound ankle fracture. Again, refused pain meds. I've crashed on a bike. It's the worst thing. It is the worst thing ever. I need a sewing machine at that slow pace. Otherwise, I'd sew my hand. Do you know what's funny? I've been sewing a very, very long time, and I've done that. Man, I still to this day, I don't know what I was thinking. I was fixing a sewing machine and I had all the mechanisms off, and I put my hand under the machine and the bar came down and just started smashing on the back of my hand. Still to this day, I don't know what I was thinking. I almost broke my hand that day. You have a spare hand and 9 fingers. It doesn't work that way. Oh gosh, that's like what I explained to people at the job, that losing a thumb is like the holy grail of injuries. because you get paid millions of dollars if you lose your thumb. But then you lose your thumb. Every rookie is like, oh, I'm going to lose my thumb. But you lose your thumb. Try to pick something up without your thumb right now. Try to pick it up. As he picks something up without his thumb. I can't have pain meds. There's a lot of stuff I'm allergic to too that I can't mess with. There's a lot of stuff that I can't mess with like that. Do you know what? Sometimes I really wonder why people get rid of sewing machines, and I'll never know. But I'm going to figure out the pace of this machine, but it works. It actually works. It's alive. It's alive. Let's throw down another stitch just to give this thing some security. But this is going to be huge. This is our former president ruined that for me. But this is going to be huge. It's going to be an extremely large scarf. Okay, perfect. I was doing something stupid, and my boss told me if I lose a hand, he would just go on Craigslist to put it on an ad saying looking for someone who to go halvesies on gloves. Thank you. But I think it's me. I need to start messing around with the machine, but I don't know if it's tension or what. So I'm gonna start touching buttons, Ollie. We're gonna figure this out. Because I thought that was tension and width, but maybe it wasn't width. Maybe it was speed. See, that's faster and it's still slow. I have all of my coffee stein in the way. But again, I just got this. And with the way the other two machines are, I'm surprised this thing even works. Oh, Greg, you're gonna love in my early videos. Are we still? Greg, I stopped talking about sewing like 6 months ago. In my early videos, when I was refurbishing older sewing machines, I mean, I was buying an antique. I was buying something from the 40s or 50s every weekend, and I used to always say that all the sewing machine needs is a little bit of lube and a lot of Barry White, and I would play Barry White. But needless to say, you get copyright strikes for doing stuff like that nowadays. That's why for all the old schoolers, I haven't done my Barry White skit in forever. Because YouTube does not like me playing Barry White. At least they used to. Oh, now I have Barry White stuck in my head. You know what? This machine is turtle paste, but I kind of like it. Gives me time to line everything up. It just went through 4 layers of fabric easily. It's a bit of a turtle, but, slow and steady wins the race. You know what they say? You know what they say about pushing the wrong buttons? Have you looked for a manual? I haven't. The PDF is saved on this computer, I think. I downloaded the manual. I'm learning. If it's something I don't know, like if it's a singer, I'm not going to look it up. Because they're very much all made the same way. But I'm somebody who's really only messed with singers. There's certain machines I've learned to look them up so I don't further the problem, because sometimes I'll do something and I'll make the machine worse, not even realizing it. You're classy, I would just spit on. I actually had I spit so much that people paid me to stop. I chewed. I know that's gross. No one wants to hear that. I chewed for long. I got it today because I have sewing machine issues. This is a New Home SR 2100. That's going to be my rapper name, SR. Yeah, I'm a Goodwill aficionado. They're gonna have my picture tie in Goodwill's, like old school Al Bundy. Do not sell sewing machines to this man. He already has quite a few. Oh, that was such a good show. I really like very slow patch for some things. Long seems like the speed. Exactly. Exactly. Something that's more precise. I actually would prefer a slower sewing machine because there are times you have to be fast and think about what you're doing while you're sewing it. It might have a reduction gear setting. That's what I'm thinking. I'm really thinking that. I'm hoping that that's it. But again, I was so excited just to mess with this. I just plugged it in. I'm like, let's go. Let's go. My rapper name is 4 Inches of Fury. Oh, you'd have a great boxing career. That sounds that sounds like a prize fighter who always loses. Now, and your opponent, four 4 inches of fury. All right. So I like the Doctor Who concept as far as a scarf goes. So this is definitely hold on. I came in too low. Let's go this way. I love a good scarf that you can wrap. So this is perfect. Bam. This just reminds me of like early like 1950s Hollywood. Thanks, babe. Thanks. Thank you, Ty. Thank you. I would never like to make sails or sailboards or sails with the machine with this machine right now. Do you know what's really funny? I am actually subscribed to quite a few people that make sails and all kinds of stuff like that. Those videos are so relaxing to me. It's not even funny, but it encourages me to get a thank you for 4 inches and 4 Hey, to quote Bernie Mac, it's nothing but 50 pumps. Count it if you're bored. Thank you, Ty. Thank you. Don't sleep on it. It's proper thick if it won't open up like a jar of pickles. I'm going to wrap the scarf on my face for that one. Scarves are amazing. I'm going to be up all night. I'm going to make a scarf video this evening. So if you see a scarf video being released at like, well, see, it's different because I do not sleep at night. So if I release, it makes me laugh when I release a video at like 3:30 or 4 o'clock because a lot of people on the East Coast are waking up around that time. They're like, oh, good morning. And I'm like, I haven't gone to bed yet. Oh, oh. Greg, as if you have to sell it, I call it the Caesar salad. It doesn't look like much, but they always end up feeling full. Ah, I have to throw a scarf on my face for that. Literally today I told like because I bought I got food with my mom and I told her like she always like her and I always will get a big salad and we share it. And just today I was like, I don't want a Caesar, man. We got an antipasta. I need something that's filling. So you're killing me with your Caesar salad comment. I passed on a Caesar today. Oh, I love infinity scarves. Man, where are my other one? I've been fishing in this room for all the scarves that I've been making. I've made over the years. I have all kinds. I keep my African one closed because still to this day I have no idea why the Kenti print it I that was the first time that I actually felt like a YouTuber. Like I got just a ton of people were sending me DMs on Twitter. All because of this. They said that I was appropriating culture because I'm an American and I'm not allowed to wear this print. Oh, everyone gangster till a nerdy white dude wears the rubber off the tie. I like the Mike Tyson quote of everyone's tough. Like everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. But I love this scarf. And like I said, I triple reinforced this thing and this thing started fights. And because I'm a Westerner, I will truly never understand. And that's not even a dig. That's not even like, oh, because maybe I did do something to offend somebody. I don't know. I constantly have that talk about cultural appropriation because sometimes I don't know. Send them to me. I will gladly. It's been a while, but when I first made the video, no one really said anything in the comments, but then all of a sudden in my Twitter DMs, because back then my Twitter name was the same as my YouTube name, and people were going wild. And it wasn't just one person, because sometimes I can tell when it's just one person. People lost their brains. I have a custom made garb from Ghana. When I was there, I mostly stayed quiet because they judged my acts very much so. I told you I had a roommate who was from there, and he told me all the secrets. He told me, like, he told me how it is in Ghana, and I know quite a few people that live there. There's this weird stigma behind it right now because there's quite a few YouTubers who aren't happy, and I don't know if that's everyone's experience. There's this huge thing with Ghana right now, but maybe it's because I watch way too much YouTube. For sure. I got that when I moved back from Canada. Oh, back at Canada. it's it's the strangest thing. But let's be real. Like, I'm from LA. People, there's certain things that people wear that they feel is cultural appropriation. Like, if the big shorts with socks, that is a total LA look. And when we see other people wearing that, we're like, you're not from Los Angeles. But really, like, anybody can wear that, anybody. That scarf is hot. It's everybody has a different experience, and it bothers me when people want to speak on everything when one person had an experience, when I can show you 15 who live in their dream. Ghana and Rwanda have been in the news big time. Well, a lot of it, Rwanda, is because the people in the UK want to send all the asylum seekers to Rwanda, and people were freaking out about that. But Ghana, it's more or less, and also, I don't know how many people need to be explained to them. When you move to a foreign country, it's a foreign country, no matter how much they look like you, no matter how much you speak the language. I speak Spanish fluently. I lived in Sinaloa, Mexico twice. It is a different universe compared to America. You're in the mountains, there's fields everywhere. It's a completely different world. I have friends from all over, including Africa, and I know enough about other countries that I can always double down. I will do PR for you. It's been driving me crazy. But one of my new pet peeves are people who paint certain areas in a light that they're not. Philadelphia is a big one. Baltimore, Los Angeles, of course. It makes me laugh when they go to they'll go to Skid Row. It's one street. It's one street. And they'll say, look at the human devastation and this and that. And it's like, no, we don't live like that here. You're a gringo. I choose to embrace it. It bothers me when people paint my area or anywhere. I don't know. I've been to quite a few places, and it's not like what you expect. Not it's weird to me. And I know a lot of it is for clicks. Like, even recently, a YouTuber I respect, she did a really clickbaity video, and I went straight to the comments. Everybody was like, I thought so much of you until you did this clickbaity. But it just bothers me how people paint these areas like they're not. If you came to my town, it is just like everywhere else in America. There's a Buffalo Wild Wings, a grocery store, a Walmart. insert standard store here. But and the problem is that people in other countries see this, thinking that that our country's falling apart, and it's just one dude doing loops and loops and loops around his street. I still talk to people in Australia. I talk to a lot of people in Mexico. I talk to people in India, and they have the craziest view of what it is to be an American. Or like when I started meeting people from around the world, they're like, "Oh, you're not a stereotype." It's because they have this unreal image of what it is to be an American. Earlier today, I told Rashawn I'm trying to create black rednecks to expand the gene pool so we can escape the Sweet Home Alabama memes. My pops was a real life redneck. He was from Savannah, Georgia. That whole generation has disappeared, though. When I saw noodling on television, I knew that real hillbilly was gone. When they were showing The Secrets, when they were showing hillbilly hand fishing in lakes in Oklahoma, I knew that that was gone. You could even say that about the lowrider culture, about a lot of things. When it got on TV, I was like, oh, it's gone. Oh. Do you know, I say this every time. I did not think I was going to be going this long, but here we are. I still need to fix my Fred Sanford pants for my key rings. I That's some deep stuff. I need my inhaler after that comment, Craig. Oh, I'm gonna be in here all night looking for what materials I can make a scarf out of. And Greg's over here. This is my confession. Oh, I'm just giving you a hard time. Yeah, late here. I have to go past 1 a.m. Ollie, I'll be back at it on Monday. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm gonna probably end up taking this machine apart. And just, so I'm definitely gonna make a video about it because I want to see the insides of this, because it is extremely turtle slow. Thank you so much for stopping by, Ollie. I'm here to You're fine, Greg. You're fine. Let me check my notes before I go back to. Oh, I'm gonna raid my kitchen. Oh, that's a really. I'm like, I don't recognize those notes because they're old. What did I put? Do you know what's so funny? I write down these crazy notes, and then later I'm like, oh, that's not even relevant. Really quickly, before I take off, I want to talk about patch placement, because I've been seeing a lot of videos about people like dressing and wearing certain things. And I have a theory about never wear anything you're not willing to fight for. If you're going to dress like a gangster or a biker, you're going to be approached by one. So if you don't know what to say, or you don't have the proper lingo, you shouldn't be wearing that. I wear a nomad patch because I earned it. And it's a weird thing. It's a really weird thing because I don't know. I wouldn't dress like a doctor if I wasn't a doctor. I wouldn't put MD on my license plate because somebody might have a heart attack near me. I also want to see the inside of this. I don't know. How do you feel about that? Should people be able to should people be able to wear a Sons of Anarchy vest and not be harassed? I think people should leave each other alone. Let me preface this with that. In no way, shape, or form should anyone ever approach anyone, and don't approach me. I don't wear a uniform. I don't know. It's one of those weird. It's one of those weird things. I'm a plain Jane and would have no idea of the lingo. And see, that's the thing. Like I I grew up around people that were in the world, so it's kind of who I am and part of what I am. And I don't know, it's just weird. There's this whole thing going around, but I'm also on the side of the people who want to wear the Sons of Anarchy stuff. They filmed near my job. They used some bikes of people I know. It was just a TV show. The problem is that when people acted out, they could really put themselves in a bad situation, you know. I stand for myself. If someone has a problem, I will give them my address and they can come tell me about it. I love SOA though. Hey, I do too. I do too. Like, and that's where I'm torn. Like, for as much trash as I talk about it, I'm not gonna sit up here in front like I didn't watch every single episode. So when I see, but also generations change because back in the day, people were much more like adults. They were like, "Oh, that guy, they'd laugh at you and point at you." But now, because everybody is walking around with cameras, it's like they have things to prove. I'm like we were talking about earlier. I'm too old for all that. I'm kind of on the side of the person wearing the SOA stuff, but like I said, like don't wear anything you're not willing to defend yourself over. I said that 3 years ago in a video because people were constantly asking me about patch placement. But a lot of the stuff I wear is more of metal bands because when I was younger, I was really into Slayer. I mean, really. And I can still sing every song by heart. I can still I'm a Slayer fan. Let's just put it that way. They should be able to do what they want, but I wouldn't wear blue and blue hat around the crypts and talk about how I'm too cool to be affiliated. I think that's part of the problem too. That's part of the problem too. I don't know. It's a weird, hairy world because in a weird way, I'm okay with wannabes. I am. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Because it's kind of like the old Cat William joke. There's a difference between owning a Phantom and a Chrysler 300. When you see the Chrysler 300 pull up, you're like, wow, that's a beautiful car. Then a Phantom pulls up. Then you're like, oh, that's the real thing right there. So it's okay if you're a Chrysler 300. I've driven in one. They're beautiful cars. I don't have a problem with a wannabe. I don't have a problem with somebody or maybe that wannabe might get a bike and turn into a real biker. I don't have a problem with anyone like that. I think we're too up in each other's business. It's weird. I don't know because I'm a bit of a Care Bear. I'm pro people exploring things, but just don't worry. I'm saying this to protect people. Don't put yourself in that position. Oh, it would not take much to talk me into a blaze of glory. See, that's another thing. It's all about respect. At least it used to be based on respect. So you left people alone. Everything's kind of changed. I'm old. I'm aware of of who the one percenters actually are, and I oppose the glorification of it. Absolutely. I thought you were a Mayan when I first. Oh, they think I'm one too when they see me because we're all the same color. I actually I made a vest. I actually made a vest kind of not in honor or anything. It's just because I have a patch addiction. Oh. I'm just kicking stuff over. Good gravy. Oh. I made this. I actually wear this all the time. This is like my skin. I wear this all the time, but it's been way too hot for black denim. Let's be real. It's been way too hot lately. But I made this, and everybody was like, "Have you seen this show?" And I have not. But during the winter, I wear this everywhere. I keep on kicking my ruler over because it's not supposed to be over here. That's what I like. It's my eyebrows. Until they hear my voice, until they hear my high voice, I keep my mouth shut. I look tough. Thank you. Thank you. I like that though. When I walk around with my vest on, people leave me alone. I shop in peace. I love that look when I open my mouth and people are like, "You were scary a minute ago, and now you sound like Alvin and the Chipmunks." I see a bunch of internet nerds going full Andrew Tate over the bike riders. This bothers me. You're about to trigger me, Craig. This bothers me. It's kind of like Marvel movies. Every time, because I collect comics too. Every time a Marvel movie comes out, the comic value goes up. All of a sudden now, all the 1940s and 50s and 60s bikes, the values are going up like this because of a movie. So many clubs are going to be born out of that movie. It's not even funny. But see, just like Sons of Anarchy, nobody was a biker before that show. And I'm talking about patched up. I'm not talking about a biker enthusiast. Everyone rides. Then all of a sudden, when that show came out, there's a gajillion MZs everywhere. It's, people literally follow trends, Tyre Kill, you destroyed me with that Mayan comment. You destroyed. And especially because I speak Spanish, it really throws people off. It really throws people off. Absolutely. Where I live, it's more the wannabes are worse than the real ones. Because I live in a large populated area, so most people stay away from the city because that's where all the law enforcement is. It's on the outskirts is where you get the real ones. Like in the city, it's always the wannabes. I was shooked. And that's another thing. There's a different like most people that ride, most people are like me. They are. Like, honestly, they're just normal people. There's someone I'm thinking of right now. He is the scariest human being on earth. He's a biker. You walk in his garage, he's got like 50 sewing machines in his garage. You would expect it to be like all motorcycle parts. It looks like this. You'd never, but you would never know by looking at him because he has a full Fu Manchu. He's a scary dude, but he likes sewing. You never know. People are funny that way. I get that a lot. Like, never judge a book by its cover because you don't know. You never know. That person could be the nicest person on earth. When the photographer who wrote the book was talking about the dudes and was like and was like death penalty, first degree, first murder, human trafficking, kidnapping. Oh, they're no joke. And in just to like, you got to think about what they did to earn that patch. But with that being said, I was at a Safeway one time with my son when he was younger, and we were in line behind somebody fully patched Hell's Angel. Okay, I'm not even kidding you. Stars and bars, everything. And he was older, so he had earned those patches, but he had a giant ponytail all the way down. And this guy was like 6'3", so his hair was long. My son was like, oh, look at that woman's hair. He turned around and started laughing so hard, I damn near jumped. But he was a nice guy, you know? He didn't have to be mean because he didn't have any natural predators. No one was really going to mess with him, you know? But again, it was just a little kid making a crack. It was more situational, you know? I agree with you, Greg. I agree with you. But that's the problem with a lot of things. People glorify gang life in LA, and it's the worst place to be. You would never want to be on that part of Los Angeles, but people glorify it and act like it's the greatest thing on earth, and it's not. People spend their entire lives trying to get out of there. The Angels figured out the PR things years before the Outlaws did. They only started doing PR recently. I'm telling you, where I'm from, like, you won't get a bad word from anyone because they're all nice to us. A couple of my uncles are bikers, but are hilarious. I should have known. They're just good, you know. It's just normal people who like tooling around on bikes. And don't get me wrong, just like anything, there's bad people, but you get that in sports. Like I know, I am weirdly connected with somebody who was a professional athlete. That is the dirtiest thing on earth. They played in the NFL in the 90s. It's literally like that movie Any Given Sunday. Like it was just the dirtiest thing on earth, you know. 99%ers are fine. You know what though? And I can say this. My cousin, because he doesn't live there anymore, he used to live in Glendale, Arizona, by the HA clubhouse. They had no reason to be nice to me. They even followed me one time on my bike, and they were still nice to me. But see, I knew what to say, and I was like, I'm from California, blah, blah, blah. And they were nice to me, you know. Don't play the part unless you're ready to play the part. But like you were saying, movies do inspire people, and they inspire. I would almost call it like a copycat kind of thing, you know. And like I said, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I will not be watching the new Outlaw movie. Are any of you guys gonna watch it? Are you gonna watch it, Greg? Are you gonna watch it, Ty? I will not be watching that movie. I like their leather and vest combos in the commercials, though. I dress like that, so when I spot that, I'm like, ooh, I like that. I like that combo. But that's how I dress. Even in this room, I have a ton of leather, but it is way too hot. Me, I will. If it's good, let me know. I have all those services where you can watch it at home. That reminds me, when is the new Beverly Hills Cop coming out? I saw they were doing PR for it. It might be out already. Before the OKC explosion took the record, the largest domestic explosion was the Outlaws blowing up an HA clubhouse 4 blocks from Navy Pier. That was war. When is it coming? I don't have the same. I have the same question, because when man, this was 2 months ago. I saw a commercial for the new Beverly Hills Cop, and the second I heard the dun 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 dun, dun, I was like, oh, they made a new movie, but it hasn't come out yet. I will watch it eventually. The actors are good and all. And from what I've heard, they didn't glorify it. I'll watch it then. That's my problem. I can't take something serious, because what's going to happen is somebody's going to watch that movie and think that's how real life is. When some people have lost the plot and they don't realize that, like, they're imitating us. It's not the other way around. I say that as someone who grew up around Hollywood, they are literally pretending to be us. You know, it's not the other way around. That's what always trips me out when people are like inspired by this movie. They were inspired by someone who looked and acted just like you. Do you know what? Sometimes I feel like the fans in here are just pushing around hot air. But are you guys gonna watch the new Beverly Hills Cop when it comes out? It's weird. I saw the interview and like Judd Nelson is 70. Alexa, how old is Judd Nelson?
Judd Nelson is 64 years old.
Oh, okay. Okay, he's 64. I thought he was okay. I will retract. Alexa, how old is Eddie Murphy?
Eddie Murphy is 63 years old.
Judd Nelson is older. Oh, sorry, Ty. I forgot. I forgot about that. I'm triggering everyone's A word. Okay, this might be too far, but that Beverly Hills Cop preview just made me think black people age way better than That's not too far. You're activating my But to be fair, Greg, Eddie Murphy has the best health insurance. He's putting oil of Olay on his face. He's putting it on his arms. Like, melanin does help, though. It does. You know what? I won't even lie. I get a joy when people ask me my age and I tell them my actual real age and I say it without stuttering or whimpering. And they're like, what? I laugh when people find out my real age. One of the reasons I started growing a beard is because I got tired of people saying, oh, you'll get it when you're my age. And they were younger than me. So that's kind of universal. Like Eddie Murphy looks like Eddie Murphy. The rest look like someone is standing around and holding them up. Nah, man. Judd Nelson looks good. Judd Nelson looks good for a 64-year-old man. Nah. When I saw that commercial, I'm like, either he had top dollar Catwoman plastic surgery or he took care of himself. Nah, Judd Nelson looks good. Folks get angry when I tell my age. Exactly. There was somebody I know that like it was a pet peeve of hers, but like people would talk down to her because they thought she was younger and she was in her 50s and she's like, I'm older than you, bro. But like, so I get that. Do you know, I get that too sometimes, but it's different though, because I will check somebody real quick. Hey girl, let me activate that Alexa. See, I said the word and I looked over all paranoid. I am trained like a helper monkey. But you know what though? It's not just people of African ancestry. I have a friend who's Southeast Asian and we're the exact same age and he looks exactly as he did in high school. Exactly. I remind him every time I see him. It's creepy, actually. Like he has not aged a day or a minute. When I shave, it's kind of Benjamin Buttons, but like I look older in my high school picture than I do now. I have pulled the plug. Do you know mine is starting to tell me, like it's starting to turn on at 6:30 and it's 7 o'clock, and I don't know how I activated that. The 6:30 one I keep on trying to turn off because it says the town I live in. It's doxed me a few times. A few times. I'm not insecure about it. I'm straight up cracker. If I shave, I get carded for cigarettes. That's awesome. I don't care. Like if you take race out of it, I love it when people think I'm young. I love it. I laugh. There was I love the reaction of people when they're like, They're like, no way. You know, hey, slow down, Tiger. Slow down, Tiger. My A word is becoming kind of inconvenient. I need to figure out. And the funny thing is, I have another one in the house, but that A word, like I forget it's there. I have it in my kitchen. I bought it originally to play music, but then I kind of forgot the thing was there because I have a cell phone. My Alexa started blasting rock and roll a couple weeks ago. Scared the hell. I told you about that, man. I told you about who let the dogs out. I was walking down my hallway saying, "If you're in my house, I fight." When I'm alone, it's so funny. The A word only gets activated when I'm alone. When my son's here, we're chilling and nothing happens. On the weekends, I'm walking around my house paranoid. That thing will randomly turn on. The best part is people always ask me how do I do it? My answer is shower with a bar of soap and never use lotion. You know what though? Like my pops he aged gracefully into a senior citizen, and he did not look his age. He was in 70s, but see, he was different because he was ancestrally African, so it was way different. My pops was like a real African. But one day, I asked him, I'm like, why are your arms still smooth? He admitted to me that he had been using oil of Olay for like 20 years. And he's like, this stuff works, man. This stuff actually works. So that anti-wrinkle cream actually worked. I found the largest knife and went upstairs. I was going down with a man. I'm telling you, don't be. I call out my moves too, like a wrestler. Like I'm coming down the hallway. It's never anybody. It's either a cat or that raccoon who has befriended my roof for some strange reason. And now it's literally just me, like, the A word is an extremely strange thing because if you think about it, like in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s, we were anti-phone tap. And in the 2000s, we invite it in our house and ask it for directions and ask it like, hey, phone tap. What's that? What's the main ingredient in that seasoning? Hey, phone tap. How do I get to Vegas? It's so strange how we've changed as a species. When 40, 50 years ago, man, you try to put this in someone's house, they would be like, no. Okay, I got to stop it now. That knife story is too close to my reality for play. I think about it all the time. Like my phone, I ask my phone all the time for things. My GPS, I use that for everything. And 30, 40 years ago, people would have got a map and figured it out. Even in the MapQuest days, we were like pirates, but you would print it out and you would follow the directions on the paper, But now we're like chemically dependent on our phones. So I look at my phone tap I look at it with a grain of salt. I have a question. Could you live without modern day MapQuest was the devil? Could you live without modern day convenience? Because people of a certain age, and I'm of that age, we constantly brag about how we lived pre-internet. Could you live in that world again? Knowing everything you know now. I like a woman who might kill me. Oh, you'd love my ex-wife. How did we drive while looking at that map? For real. I had yes, I can. I think about that all the time because I want to move somewhere country, and honestly, part of me wouldn't care if I had reliable internet or not. My son would lose his brains. He'd move. He'd be like, I'm out of here. But I could totally live somewhere without the internet. My job is out in the country, and cell phones do not work at my job. When they started putting in towers, I went to meetings to fight them for putting in towers near my job. I do live without modern convenience. I don't even have appliances in my house right now. I lived like that for a very long time. I wouldn't mind living off the grid. I think about it all the time because I used to live in a very rural setting and then I got older. And my problem is I'm from LA County, so I keep on moving back here because I've moved to the country 4 or 5 times. I've moved to the woods 3 or 4 times, but I keep on moving back. No matter where you're from, in a weird way, it's like a black hole. Because you ask anybody, Shags was saying that Pittsburgh is a black hole. Well, people from there, or I'm just saying Pennsylvania in general is a black hole. No matter if you get comfortable with something or an area, it becomes a place that you keep on falling back on. And that's what LA County is. That's what's happened with me in LA County. Indoor plumbing is my line. I don't know. I could even do without that. But again, I say that and then I watch those van life videos and I'm screaming. I'm screaming at my phone or whatever screen. I'm like, these people need help. But again, van life is more of a statement on society that people are bragging about living in their cars. And I promise you, I will not go off about van life because I always do. And I do because it sincerely scares me. For anyone who knows, I did outreach for over 15 years and I recently quit because it stressed me out to the point where I needed heart pills. And so van life stresses me out. Because I've seen the tail end of van life and it is not fun. I'm not shifting in a hole or bathing in a river, no. I've been watching a lot of van life people. I think it's because I did outreach for so long. I'm a Care Bear. And so it makes me think where's your support circle? Where are your friends? How do you stop from going crazy? Where is your human interaction? Because it's easy to get lost when you're outside like that. It's easy to become forgotten. And so I need to stop saying van life because it keeps on popping up on my phone and I get in these, I've followed these people and I'm like, I hope that they did something with themselves. And it's also socioeconomic. The person who's driving around in the $300,000 van is different than the person who's sleeping in a Honda Accord. And I know that's a big difference, but van life scares me. Folks are selling their homes to live that way. Yikes. My one of the many ways that we make money on the property at my job is we don't do it as much, but we used to do RV storage. Man, people would pay a lot of money to hide those things. I don't know if I don't know if I could live in a camper like that. It's different if I'm in a camper and I'm building my house. I knew somebody. I loved this human. I respected this human. My ex-wife's father lived on a literal acre fenced in plot. He got at least 1, 2, 3. He got 4 pods, which are he built a mansion, but they were mobile homes, but he built 4 mobile homes into each other in this giant L. That house was a mansion to me. I would do something like that. It was huge. And he just got 4 pods and put them together. That's different. It was a house. It was a home. It had walls. It was, it had a roof. It could withstand the rain. It was raised and it was on a property. So he had a barn. He had all this stuff. I would live like that. I would live like Ray. I would totally do that. Van life scares me. Oh, that just makes me want to cry. That That train hobos they are. Portland, Oregon. Portland. See, I got introduced to real train hobos in Portland, Oregon. Folks are selling their homes. That's crazy. It's a new thing since the cost of living is so high. That's one thing that makes me want to cry, though, Ty, is that that is an indictment on the system. Because I'm not trying to be like, oh, those people should be working and this or that, but those people should have stable housing. That bothers me. That's why van life guts me. A lot of people around here buy ship containers and weld them together. There's a whole there's a whole thing behind that. Kilroy and I go off about that because they get moldy. I did research because I was gonna do it. I was gonna build a container mansion. I saw one on YouTube. I was like, oh, I could build that. But then I really got into it, and I really got into it. And in the research behind it is the container houses, they're airtight. So you get moldy, like they are the definition of airtight. So Ty, I go back and forth on this. I would live in a tiny home if it was on a property and it was secluded and I had like a bunch of tiny homes in a quad. Does that make sense? I don't know. I like, but also I don't want to live like I'm in a zoo exhibit. But then again, like if somebody saw the specs of I live in a 3-bedroom house. To some people, that is a tiny home. I'm kidding, but I waffle back and forth. If I was on a property and I had a bunch of tiny moldy, yeah, they get moldy. If I was able to like, I don't know, if I was able to get a bunch of pods, then yeah, but not just one tiny home, I would go crazy. But I'm also an outdoorsy person, so it would encourage me to be outdoors. This house is the bane of my existence, but I honestly don't know how people who rent right now are surviving. Are they just not eating? In LA, the other day, I went to Burger King. When I say the other day, I mean like yesterday or something. And I got a Whopper and a number 1 small was $14.79. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't know how people do it in California. $14.79 for a Whopper. You still have to know how to build a house. HVAC is part of that. I wrote down something in my notes about HVAC. I can't remember what it is now. Oh, excuse me. But California is insane. Yeah. And the funny thing is, I was having a hankering. In a weird way, I was craving a Whopper. I hadn't had one in a while. And I live within walking distance of a Burger King. So I just popped over there and got one. $14. Next time, I'm just going to get the sandwich and drink the Sprite at my house. But like I said, our fast food is so expensive that restaurants are now advertising like you could go to McDonald's for $15, or you could literally come and sit down at a fancy restaurant and get ribs and we'll sing you a happy birthday for the same price. You can build a house out of wood that gets moldy. That is true. But the shipping containers almost every time contain mold. Yeah, I guess just be hungry. I don't like, honestly. And do you know in Southern California where I live, you have to make at least $150,000 a year. That's base minimum. Nobody is making that much money as far as like the common job. Nobody like even with like back in the day in like the Carl's Jr. McDonald's era of like the 90s, late 2000s, on average they would make $25,000 to $30,000 a year. That's below the cost of living. Even with the increase in wage, they're still making less. They're still making around that same amount. I don't know how people do it nowadays. I'll tell you the honest truth. I do not know how people do it. But it's a sad statement. Even by my dispensary, it's literally on the other side of the train tracks. When I'm driving to the dispensary, there is just rows of RVs and people living in their cars. you know. Man, I'd live in a box. I'm telling you, like, I don't know how people do it. When I because I watch things online and they'll say these stupid, insane numbers, and I'm like, that's not real. That's not real. Then I start looking it up, and it is. That's how I found out that people don't pay $35 for fried chicken in other states. Our Popeyes, I'm still not over it because I'm still talking about it. Our Popeyes is like $36 for an 8-piece. And I thought it was just Twitter being insane. Then I went there and it really was that price. I am super motivated to pay my property taxes. I can't afford rent. My dad used to always say that about, because he bought a house in a really nice neighborhood, and he used to always be like, I don't think I can afford to buy my own house. Because the property value just kept on getting higher and higher. Oh, it's so true. It is so true. But that's what happened to San Francisco. San Francisco was the chillest place on planet Earth to live. San Francisco was paradise. And then every rich person on Earth moved there. And it became unlivable. Who in the early 2000s, I dated someone whose grandmother lived on Broadway and Gough. And I can say that because she's not around anymore. That is prime real estate in San Francisco. Her window overlooks the Golden Gate Bridge. If you had that view, it was like $500,000 to live there. And that didn't count, like, that was just like $500,000 just to get in the door. That didn't count actually how much you were paying for rent every month. And that was in the early 2000s. I mean, like 99, 2000. We were still dressing like Nelly back then. I'm kidding. My whole point is it's unaffordable now, and it was way unaffordable back then. So it's slowly trickling down here. In my neighborhood, I see for sale signs it's really sad. When I'm driving back home and I see for sale signs everywhere because people move in and they really can't afford to live here. And then a year later they have to sell because it's unreal to live here. When I went to LA in 1999, you could buy a condo on a beach for $150K. When I lived in San Francisco in 2010, you couldn't buy a house on the peninsula under $1 million. For real. It was a dream of mine to live in San Francisco, and I could never afford to live there. Never. I just liked the metropolitan. It's California meets New York. At least that's what it used to be. But San Francisco's changed, just like everywhere else. People talk about how LA is so destroyed. It's not. Most of Los Angeles is gentrified. I was literally talking about this yesterday with Marquette. All these places like Compton, Carson, Watts. You think of them. You think of NWA, all these rap groups. Man, there are people drinking coffee right now in Compton at Starbucks on the boulevard, chilling. It's all been gentrified. It's all been gentrified. East LA was such a trip to me because I kept on seeing on TV. They're like, East LA's changed. I'm like, yeah, right. I went there. It reminded me of my neighborhood. And that used to be a no-go zone. Like, you don't go unless you look like everybody else or you're from there, and it's been completely gentrified. It's constantly almost a nice day, but never is. But you like edging, so San Francisco makes sense. When I was younger, I surfed. I thought I was going to be a professional surfer until I almost died in San Francisco Bay. And you know what? If I ever see that Australian guy who saved my life, I'm going to give him a hug because that man saved my life. I was surfing in the San Francisco Bay. I'd never seen waves as large as they have up north. Southern California, we have small waves. And you think you're the just professional surfer. You think you're the best. Up north, they have real waves, and I got crashed by a 30-foot wave and almost got taken under the water. And this Australian man saved my life because he was a fish. So I'm glad I didn't move to San Francisco because my professional surfboarding career was over that day. I literally quit surfing that day. I surfed more after, but almost getting accordioned changed my life. It was a real one, Ty. It was a real one because I'd surfed most of my life, but then you know what's really funny? Above my head, I have the surfboard that I have the surfboard that I got in the accident with. It's still here. It is a 5-fin, 6-foot silver strand surfboard. It's like a Ferrari on the ocean. It goes really fast, and on smaller waves. I actually got known, well, because I was the black guy out there surfing, but I had the time of my life, and everyone told me, they're like, "You're so good, go up north." I got ragdolled by the waves in Northern California. The water is too cold to swim. You get out, you get in the bay, you just drown. Well, I had a full thermal suit. I still have both suits. I have my half suit, I have my thermal suit. I couldn't fit in either one. Every once a year, I try to put on my because I have one that was more for up north, but I have my my wetsuit that I would always wear. I cannot fit that thing in. And it has an extra long line. There was one time I zipped it up and I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna take this thing off. I don't know how I'm gonna take this wetsuit off. So if I start surfing again, I'm gonna have to go out and buy a new suit. And also, let's be real, like surfing is a commitment. You have to get up in the morning. I have a kid. I can't disappear like that. So I had to grow up. I miss my Point Break days. I miss those days. It's also full of sharks. The bay just really wants to kill you. No, that's serious. You know what's really funny? In Ventura, there's one time I was surfing. I've told this story a million times. 2 dolphins came up next to me. They were surfing with me. Everybody was like, "That is so glorious. That is so beautiful." Do you know inside I was dying? Do you know how big dolphins are? I was like, these are the scariest, man. And dolphins laugh at you. Dolphins literally laugh at you. They got big old snouts. It was kind of scary, and they're bigger than you. And with your board, they think you're the same size. You are not. Oh, Mayan server. I did. Trust me, man. I would get a reaction out of people. There's people that still recognize me more when I go towards the ocean, but I definitely get a reaction out of people. Oh, excuse me. I definitely get a reaction out of people. I miss surfing, but like I said, I grew up. I do kind of have an itch to move near the beach, but I don't want to live on unstable ground. And in California, I couldn't live on the hills. Every night I would fall asleep and be like, I wonder if I'm gonna wake up in the ocean tomorrow. I know people that have a beach house and it's a bear and you don't have a backyard. If you own a house that's directly on the beach, you don't have a backyard. And if you don't live near a private beach, it's weird. I don't know. You can see I'm big on safety. Just moved to Arizona and so funny thing, I lived in Arizona for a couple of years. And statistically speaking, I live on the hard side of the San Andreas Fault. So where I live will be beachfront property. Because it is the mountain's not getting, the ocean isn't getting over those mountains. So where I live, it's going to be beachfront property. I want to live by the beach, but fear tsunamis. Thank you. Thank you. And you know what's funny? I really didn't have a fear of tsunamis until I lived in Oregon and they had they have tsunami sirens. There was an earthquake in Japan one time and the sirens started going off. I was like, what do we do? I'm not from here. What do we do? And people were like, oh, that's the tsunami warning. And I'm like, you're far too calm for that. You are far too calm. I think it would take more than wind to kill you. I believe in you. Yeah, but have you seen the footage from that one tsunami, the Christmas tsunami? That is some of the scariest stuff on planet Earth. See, that's why I can't internet too much, because when I watch stuff like that, I'll never leave the house. Check Oregon up. Beautiful place. It is in West Coast Vermont. Oregon is so beautiful, but if you live near the coast, they have tsunami sirens, and I hit the ground. Certain things in life you can look back and laugh at yourself because you were acting dumb, and I was ducking and dodging when those sirens came up, and people were looking at me like, oh, he's really not from around here. But I didn't realize how close those places are to us. So when an earthquake happens in Japan, Oregon, they're bracing for tsunami. Have you seen the Florida man in a banana hammock with an American flag who hangs out in a hurricane? Those are my people. I have seen that video so many times. I've seen the remix. I've seen the original. Water will take me out. I swim like a rock. Do you know what's really funny? I swim like a fish. And I don't know what I was thinking. I made that comment in front of my mom. I was like, yeah, I'm really good at swimming. She looks at me and she's like, baby, it's for a reason. My mom made me take swimming lessons every summer, and I never knew why. And she's like, you were a terrible swimmer. And in my head, I'm like the greatest swimmer on earth. I surfed in the ocean. I was swimming in the ocean. But it's because my mom constantly got me lessons because I didn't have confidence in my skills. And my neighborhood is the land of pools. I mean, we have public pools. There's parks everywhere in my neighborhood. That's one good thing about the suburbs. We have parks everywhere. Basketball courts, pools, public pools. And even if it's private, somebody that lives in that area. And I never knew. And I would always brag about how good of a swimmer I was. And my mom kind of chuckled and she was like, yeah, it's because of me. Oh, good times. Just found out some pretty boy have him draw you like a French girl and he'll give you a piece of his wood. I took swimming lessons but got kicked out when my sister nearly drowned the instructor. I love swimming. Ever since I was a kid, I think it's just like floating in the pool. I don't know what it is. I love swimming. And as a parent, when my son was younger, the beach was free. And they have weird pools at the beach. So I'd always take my son to the beach. Sorry. I'm coughing my brains out. Swimming is something, it's like a real love of mine. It's inside of me. I can't even explain what it is. I love swimming. I'm gonna take adult lessons. But it's definitely a skill. There was a long time that I hadn't been swimming or anything, and I jumped in the pool and I was like, oh, I forgot half of my skills. Where I live, there's lessons everywhere, but it's because there's pools everywhere. It's because it's hot here. When I lived in Arizona was the same way. They had, and it's built up. It's really built up compared to how it is now. I was talking about this, and I think the biggest factor in being able to swim is access to still water. Yeah, totally. We're still talking about swimming. Swimming is but again, I grew up like in the land of parks and pools, and they had to make sure you knew how to swim. And you know what? I won't even lie. Um, I get offended when people ask me if I know how to swim. When I lived in Oregon, I had a group of friends, and we rented a boat, and everyone was looking nervous. And I was like, "What's wrong with you?" And they're like, "Do you know how to swim?" And I was like, "I am offended." And I literally did a backflip off the pontoon boat in the water and was like backstroking, literally backstroking. Yes, Greg, come out of the gutter. I will die. But wouldn't you be offended as a grown adult? Well, see, here's my problem. I consider anything under 25 not a grown adult, but as a grown adult, I was offended when people asked me if I know how to swim or not. Laugh out loud. How dare you ask that? Thank you. Thank you. But in my mind, I'm thinking, like, don't these people know? Like, I'm from the land of fish. We all, like, we are fish, but like, we swim. That's all we do around here. And this was pre-internet, kids. So all we did, like, during the summer, we would find our favorite pool and hang out there all summer long, you know? I'm offended. I can only do a mean doggy paddle. It counts. That counts. The fact that you have enough confidence to get out there and do it, that counts. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, someone was saying by people who live near water and can't swim, you can't learn to swim in the ocean or near a river. That is true. I always wondered about that though, because when I lived in Oregon, it always tripped me out. How well Oregon has real seasons. They have real seasons, but during the summer, a bunch of people would drown in the river. And always in my head, I would be like, if you've lived your whole life near that river, don't you know how to swim? Not when it's like a real river, like a real one. Because in Oregon, they have real raging rivers. Took all my willpower to leave that alone. But it'll always trip me out. And those were not people of color, you know, it was in Oregon. So it always would trip me out. But if you live near a river, you're not necessarily going to learn how to swim on a river that's raging all the time, you know? Because I went fishing. I learned like real fly fishing, but the rivers we were in, they were maybe up to my knees and they were not like they were not going fast at all. And we would find the ones that weren't. I learned this being in Oregon. I did all the stereotypical country things out there. It will. Oh, the ocean is why. Nature, like most things, will teach you respect if you don't have respect for it. It will teach you respect. They know how to swim. They just can't swim outside of tide for real. Keep shining. Hey, but Greg, you are right though, because I grew up with access to pools and everything. But you know what though? Los Angeles County is like that too. They have pools everywhere and they teach everybody how to swim. Everybody. So it's weird to me. But again, I take it for granted because I live in a place where people go out of their way to teach each other how to do this. So it's not necessarily something that's representative of the entire United States of America. Riptides aren't. In 1990, cough, 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 I got caught up in the riptides at Seal Beach, and my friend's dad saved my life. I grew up in LA, same. Absolutely. Absolutely. Everybody knew how to swim. I've known how to swim as long as I can remember. Same. Like some of my greatest memories were hanging out with my buddies at the pool. Even when I used to get lessons when I was a little grommet, some of the greatest memories. Even when we were getting my son lessons, like I bought a bunch of those old school pool floaties that you go down the bottom of the pool for, the waiters, all that stuff. That reminds me, I have a kiddie pool that is the exact same size as me. I got it off of Amazon 6 or 7 years ago, and that thing is still going. 6 years later, my kiddie pool is still going. When I sit in that thing, it's like a sensory deprivation tank. Oh, I love that thing. Every season of Little League ended with a pool party. Oh, now I'm craving pizza. Now I'm craving pizza. Absolutely, a pizza party and a pool party. Absolutely. It is the exact same size as me, Ty. It is the exact, and I lay in there like this. I'm like, oh, this is glorious, and it's huge. It's one of those weird 7-foot Amazon pools, and I lay in that thing, and I'm like, this is. I got it from my kid when he was younger, and he loved it. He loved it, but then he grew up, and I'm like, oh, this is mine. Every year now, every year I pump that thing up, and I'm like, I am so surprised you don't have a hole in it. It's a man pool. When he uses it, he's a grown man. It is a man. I love that thing. And it reminds me of Married with Children when Al Bundy was like, I'm going on vacation. And he went in his backyard. But that thing is so huge. When I lay in it, it's like, it's just me in the sky. I love that thing. I love that thing. Yeah, how's it going? Hey, great to see you. How's it going? How's it going? I like that. Man pool. How's it going, Jerry? Great to see you. Great to see you. I love that thing. I absolutely love that thing. I don't care how ridiculous I look. It is glorious. And I fill it up. I leave it outside for 10 minutes, and the pool, it instantly heats it up. Well, nature instantly heats it up. A man or a pool. How's it going, Jerry? Great to see you. Great to see you. I'm going to park this thing in a minute. I did not realize I've been woofing for this long. Oh. Saturday, man. Saturdays are always hit or miss. Wow. I've been going for 3.5 hours at this point. Bold. It's because, like, when my kid was younger, he wanted a pool, but as one day I got in that thing and I was like, oh, this is glorious. And so every year, that is my goal to see if it's still working or not. I need to write them an Amazon review. Be like, this is the greatest product that you guys have. I will be back at it on Monday. Ty and Greg, I want to thank you. I absolutely thank you. I had a good time just hanging out and chopping it up. And that's what this is about. I know I sew a lot. I make a lot of things, but it's about having a good time and enjoying life, because life's too short to be constantly woofing about things you don't like. I'd rather talk about surfing and kiddie pools. I'm the enemy of productivity. I've never ever seen the rails people talk about. Did not finish in the pool. You'll never get it clean without draining it. I have nosy neighbors with cameras, man. None of that could go on around here. I'll be back at it on Monday. Same time, same craziness. But seriously, I want to thank everybody who's here, anyone who watches this in the future, because quite a few people have been watching my live streams. I absolutely thank you. I am literally a guy just wolfing on the internet, some shrub who sews, and I absolutely thank everybody. I'll be back at it I'll be back at it on Monday. See, I left you with a moral. Thank you, Ty. Thank you, Greg. I'll be back at it on Monday. I'm going to be making a scarf video. I'm working on it. Right now. And I already have 2 scarves made, so we're halfway there. Like I always say, reinforce your seams, be yourself, and I will definitely see you next time. Thank you, everybody.